Please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. Hey, oi, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, always handsome, always smart, always on time, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up?
Always on time.
Never not on time.
How you guys doing this weekend?
On time.
Right on time, dude.
Right
it's not the
on
weekend.
It's
Monday.
Not a moment to spare.
Feels like the weekend. Hanging with you guys, it feels like the weekend.
We still got football. Until football ends, the weekend continues.
That's
Exactly.
right,
It's just I can't believe we have to work on the weekend.
I can't
What
believe
the
it's not
hell?
butter.
I can't believe it's not butter either. We got some people in the chat ready. Oh, what's up, Coop?
I was gonna say my weekend ends with Thursday night football.
And
Ends
then
and ends,
And then
right?
I take a half day on Friday.
Craig in here says Tommy likes to rhyme. Tommy's always on time. Now here's the FYF Morning Show discussing how Tua pooped to the bed in prime time.
Nice.
Ooh.
Came in with the heater, Craig. I
What
like
up,
it, bro.
Craig?
It's devolving into full on rap battles in the chat.
Tommy,
Last
you're
minute
up.
8 Mile.
Get him,
Trevor
Tom.
Lawrence sure can sling him. And just for Coop, he threw 2 to Ingram. He is tight end 4, just like he said it. So go jump in a lake, all you trolls from Reddit.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes,
bro.
dude.
What's happening right now?
Get
Round
served,
1.
Craig. We just all got served.
We did. We got Spooky over here in the YouTube chat. Good morning, Spooky
Good
season.
morning.
Okay.
Welcome in. Spooky, I'm so glad that that's your name 24. I was about to say 24 months out of the year,
24/7.
but all 12 months out of the year because we always deserve a little spooky season. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not just like October that we need some spooky. We need that all the time.
Gotta mix it
We
in.
got-
a little.
We got Keeve in the chat saying, I feel like Tommy out on his bucket hat this morning, put on his bucket hat this morning to come out and sing that for us. Guys, we had a full weekend of football, a lot that went down. It is time to talk about what happened this weekend. Everyone watching, I hope you brought your own breakfast because we brought everything else that you need. We brought the news stories, the topics. You guys just got a BYOB. Joe, you bring any breakfast this morning?
Oh, yeah. I got my OJ.
In your
Delicious.
juice cup.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have your juice cup. Apparently just me.
Maria in
Juice
here saying
cup.
good morning. Jail, I'm just curious. Like as a child, did you drink juice out of coffee mugs? Or like what was the impetus that made that the juice cup?
You know what? I don't know, Simon. I couldn't tell you.
Because I'm not saying you're wrong. It looks like a great cup for juice. I'm just
It's just
curious.
it's something that I don't think that it was something I always did since I was a kid, but like it's something I just noticed I kept doing here in this house since we've lived here. And then one day Maria's like, yeah, those are the juice cups. Like we both do that. And I don't know, it's just a weird thing.
So what do you
It
drink
works.
tea out of? Juice cups?
Juice cups.
That's so weird. Why are you drinking tea out of your juice cup?
They're not just juice cups. They're just when you're drinking juice, it's what you should use. You're not going to use a normal glass. It's weird.
It's like a salad bowl. You don't have to eat salad out of a salad bowl.
Exactly. This just tastes better in this cup for some reason. It feels right for a juice cup.
You're kind of selling. You're kind of selling me on it. I will say. I admit.
You guys don't ever pick like certain cups for certain types of drinks that you drink.
This is my
I'll-
water cup.
I'll have to ask my. I'll have to ask my wife if we can convert some of the coffee mugs to juice cups.
Do it.
Let her know
It'll
they can still
change
be
your
used
life.
for coffee.
It's gonna change your life, Coop. Just you
Yeah.
wait.
Maybe half of them. Maybe half of them will switch them over to juice cups, and the rest we'll keep for like coffee and stuff.
You're gonna love
Okay,
it.
but before we talk about the important things, I got one more question about the juice cup, JL.
Yeah.
Is it one juice cup or is it a type of cup and you've got multiple of the
cup.
same cup?
I just
Both
picture.
ones.
Okay.
Picture Maria looking into the cabinets, and there's 10 cups that are the same, pretty much, and she's like, "Wait a second, where's the juice cup? And Joe's like, I'm using it. She's like, will you hurry up? Right.
Occupied.
We got Joey right in the chat. What's up, Joey? Said I used to drink my
Joey?
alcohol out of a chalice in college. It had gems and was gold.
I am
Beautiful.
0% surprised by that.
That sounds like something where chicks are either they like it or they think you're totally weird. Did that work? Were chicks digging the chalice, Joey?
Let us know.
Keeps it. Joey was also a pimp. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that checks out. That was his role in college. I think the weirdest thing I ever drank out of in college was a pre-workout powder container. Like we had like a fitness themed party. And so I took a bucket of pre-workout and dumped it into some Tupperware and then filled that to the brim with some awful concoction that only a college student would drink. No. And then just drink from that all night. Mm-hmm. Disgusting. Gross. Tommy in the chat saying King Joey. I could see him in a full king outfit role playing. Yeah, that doesn't take much imagination to picture Joey throwing on the full, like, fluffy king robe, like Robin Hood style. I think he did that,
like 2 weeks ago. just on a Tuesday. No reason.
He didn't have pants on, though, just the robe.
It's true.
Just the cape. Okay, guys. BYOB. Coop, bring for me this morning.
I just want to say that, like, this week was a huge setback for all the haters that say that tight ends never do anything, right? Mega setback. Because this was like tight end Christmas, baby. Evan Engram, Chiga Conqueror, David Jones, Pat Fryermuth. Dude, across the board. We had touchdowns. We had, Evan Engram.
Travis Kelce.
Engram, my boy. Travis Kelce doing what he do. Hawkinson, full slate of tight ends. And tonight we have the cherry on top, Hunter Henry against the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be.
Oh, you better knock on some wood.
Yeah, I got it right here. We're knocked up. I got my Patriots gear on. We're ready to go.
Coop's knocked up. Don't worry, Jay.
I'm all knocked up. I was actually last night I was drinking. I kept saying I was drinking eggnog, maybe a little buzz, and I kept going to my wife. I'm knocked up. Which is a really smart choice.
I've had Evan Engram and Scott Fishbowl, and I've started them like every week. It's been so great. It's been just not the best this season, but this week I haven't started a kicker all year. And I saw lots of people on Twitter all week talking about how great kickers did for them in their lineups, how great kickers did. And I thought, you know what? Cameron Dicker's sitting there on the waiver wire. I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to bench Evan Engram, and I'm going to start Cameron Dicker instead. Evan Engram is sitting on my bench in Scott Fishbowl because I got cute on a Saturday morning with my lineup.
No,
I got cute, and Evan Engram is sitting on my freaking bench in Scott Fishbowl.
So he dropped a straight like 30 plus spot, even in half PPR. That's tight end premium. So how many points did Evan Engram leave on your bench, Simon?
I'm about to tell you right now. Evan Engram left 45.2 points on my bench.
No.
Great googly moogly.
Oh my God.
First of all, how dare you?
Are you going to win?
I actually did all right. Dicker scored 14.2. I hit 205 points in that league this week. So I hopefully will advance to the next round, but that freaking hurts, man. 45 points from a tight end on my bench. Feels silly.
Well, welcome to the Evan Engram experience, though, because had you started him, he would have got 4 points, probably, right?
That's what I was doing. So I'm not mad about the process. I got 14.2 out of the kicker, which that's what I expected to get, and I thought that would outscore Evan Engram. But man, Engram killed it. I was hyped for you, Coop, when I was watching that. That was awesome.
14.2 out of your kicker is actually great.
Great, right?
I was thinking that. I was like, actually, that's pretty solid performance.
Cameron Dicker the kicker. But no Evan Engram.
Is that what they say?
I'm sure it rhymes. Someone has to have said that. I can't be the only one to have rhymed those words together.
Yeah. Just
Craig
like every time you think you're making a new Brock Purdy pun, you're not.
Oh my God.
You are not.
No, it's all the same pun. It's all about the word pretty. Every time.
It's very original, though. Very original.
Yeah. I think they've all pretty much been made.
Pretty much. Yeah, they've all been made. Craig in here said, in one league I'm in with big play bonus, super tight end premium, milestone points league, Engram had over 63 points.
Yes.
Absurd. But Coop, you're 100% right. There were a lot of tight ends this week that mattered, that are going to change the results of these fantasy matchups in the positive, not in the negative.
Yeah, I mean,
Foster Moreau.
you and your first, Foster Moreau. You see my tweet? I said Pine Sewell outscored Foster Moreau this week.
Yeah.
Eat it, nerds. But Simon, I will say that your first class ticket on the Chigazim Express, the Chigakonkwo train. Seems like a pretty good investment, my man.
Hey, it worked out, didn't it? It worked out. I was hyped. I was absolutely hyped. Coop messaged me. I was like, hey, where do you guys talk about the game during the day? And all I responded was like, Chigakonkwo! Like all caps. Like I was like, I'm not answering your question, but I assume this is what you wanted to talk about.
That is what I wanted to talk about.
You were right.
Yeah. But we even speculated because the offensive coordinator was like, we got to drop new plays. I mean, basically they just threw him the same number of passes they have been throwing him, but they also gave him a handoff. He didn't go anywhere with it, but sign of things to come, perhaps.
I like it when you see that. If they're designing plays like that for a tight end, that makes you pretty excited, right?
Exactly, dude. In a world where you're just hoping for 4 or 5 receptions, everything that like a carry is huge.
Rhea said, morning. She said, it just happened one day. Talking about the juice cup. I can only presume.
You guys have like a schedule. It doesn't happen because you have a schedule. Like who gets the juice cup when?
It's always her.
you have just the show you're blocked off for. Actually,
one show.
First break, you have to go and give it to her.
You get the juice cup for 40 minutes a week on Mondays. On Mondays from 7 to 7:40 a.m., JL gets the juice cup. Everybody else,
and I have to give it back.
But you're happy to have it.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
And then she goes to work, and you're still not allowed to touch it.
Yeah, you can't touch it till she's back.
She'll know.
I need adult supervision.
Tommy's visitation rights
to the juice cup.
She locks it up
right now.
Yeah,
man. You guys better never separate because that cup will get contentious. I can just tell.
The couple get contentious.
Imagine like a couple going into like a divorce attorney and like the divorce attorney's gearing up like, okay, like what's the problem?
I want the juice cup.
I want the juice cup. Everything else we're fine with. You can have everything. Just give me the damn juice cup.
The judge does that test where he's like, well, we'll just break it in 2 and one person gets the handle. The jail's like, no, she can have it. Just don't hurt it.
They put it in the center of the hallway, and Maria and I each go to one end of it, and we see where the juice cup rolls to.
Just you airbud it. You got to airbud the situation. Simon, let me guess, Simon. You've never seen Airbud.
I've seen Airbud.
Okay, just checking.
Like if you ask me to remember more than dog plays sports, I'm probably not going to remember too much. But
what's
I remember
the kid's name in Airbud?
No chance.
Jacob.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Airbuds, aren't there? I feel like I remember
so
at
many.
Blockbuster there being an entire row of Airbuds and an entire row of Mary-Kate and Ashley movies.
Oh, dude, that was so close. The kid's name is Josh.
Oh,
dude, that was pretty good.
I was right there. You go with the J name. You're probably going to be right. We got Illmind Jedi in here this morning. He said, morning, guys. I played the team Empire, and I was victorious.
Empire.
The force was with me, especially with J.K. Dobbins with a strong return to council. Congrats on the win, my friend. Congrats on the win.
Illmind Jedi. Yeah, dude. J.K. Dobbins. What do you think, Jay? What do you think?
Came out hot, man. He came out hot. They gave him 15 carries in his return, which is more than I expected. That's for sure. He definitely, you could tell he was nursing that leg still, though. He was not running full speed.
That's the scary thing is that this guy when fully healthy, he has crazy explosive speed. Like the only person that has like a higher career breakaway run rate, I'm pretty sure, is Nick Chubb, and he's pretty good. So, J.K. Dobbins is back, baby.
He's a full start rest of the season if he's healthy. I was nervous to put him into my lineups this week, but I'm plugging J.K. Dobbins in full confidence rest of the year.
I looked it up yesterday on our Sunday night recap show, and I don't remember what his exact schedule is going forward, but I'm pretty sure it is nice for running backs. I think he's got Cleveland and Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Cleveland, Atlanta, and then Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's meh, but Cleveland and Atlanta the next 2 weeks. Light them up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good playoff first and second round of the playoffs matchups right there. Cleveland, Atlanta.
Yeah, they clearly give him the the biggest part of the workload here. Gus Edwards is basically a non-factor.
Poor Gus. Gus Bus. He does such a good job when asked to, but he's not always
When
asked to.
Yeah.
He's standing on. He's the cup that sits next to the juice cup in the pantry that you use in case of emergencies. It's a really good cup. It's a really good cup.
Really good cup.
In fact, it's the exact same cup.
It's just not the juice cup.
It's just not the juice cup. Yeah.
You can tell the difference.
Right. Runs for 5 yards a carry for his entire career. You're not quite the juice cup. Sorry, guys.
Maria said F those movies. I don't know which movies you talk about.
Airbud.
Oh, one of those made me cry.
Definitely the Airbuds, dude.
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
The one that made you cry was definitely the first one because nobody saw any of the other ones.
I've seen a lot of them.
I was about to say, I feel like I've seen so many of them. I remember the plot of none of them except Dog Plays Other Sport.
That was exactly my thoughts. That's all I remember.
But I know I've seen
volleyball. Dog plays volleyball.
That's the first sport that was in my head, Jail. It was like, I know he played volleyball in one of these other ones.
Dog plays basketball. I'm pretty sure I saw a Dog Plays baseball one.
There's hockey.
I'm looking at Airbud MVP.
That's possible. Dog on skates.
Airbud MVP, most valuable.
How the heck
primate.
would a dog play soccer?
No, it's hockey.
Wait, most valuable primate? Is that what you said?
Most valuable primate. They got a monkey to play hockey. So the hockey one is a monkey. But the rest of them are a dog.
They tried with a dog. They tried so hard. The production and release of that movie got pushed back 6 months as they tried time and time again to get the dog on skates, but it just wouldn't work. And eventually they switched to a monkey.
Out.
Poor Airbud. Josh did not take good enough care of you.
They should have him play. How do they? I'm looking through all these, dude. They have volleyball. Airbud Spikes back.
Airbud Spikes back, yes.
But dude, how do they not have him playing like ultimate frisbee? Cricket. Right, like in a sport that he would actually might be okay with. Like
because then frisbee, it's not exciting.
It's not. Did you say cricket?
I said cricket. Yeah, Airbud plays cricket. That's the one.
Airbud plays highlight.
There we go. Now we're talking, JL. I watched some highlight.
I feel like only you and I know what highlight is.
It came up on like a commercial or something. Highlight came up, or maybe it was on. No, I discovered this weekend my TV came with like 1,000 of the weirdest channels, like very specific channels, and there's a whole channel that all it does is play highlight and highlight repeats, and like I was scrolling through.
Yeah, so I feel like I've never actually watched the game be played, but I feel like everybody has one of those highlight things in like a closet in their house somewhere. You know what I'm talking?
Like kind of like one of the
supers,
like
with the wiffle ball.
And you're just like, what is that? You just have it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what highlight is, it's like lacrosse meets wall ball, kind of. You're on like you have a lacrosse stick basically that attaches to your arm this long, but it's like a rounded scoop, and they're throwing this ball so fast inside the giant squash court, and it's like wall ball rules basically. But it was wild.
Dude, wall ball was lit.
Wall ball was lit as
it's like a top tier game.
Yeah.
We used to
play anywhere. You could play anywhere you had a ball and a wall, which
exactly. So versatile.
Portable.
Those basements, everyone had those perfect basements for wall ball.
And I'm just remembering like childhood wall ball memories where truly you would sprint and dive full force into a
concrete.
Wall.
Yeah.
Or a concrete wall. Just as hard as you could to make sure you didn't get out. Like you would run into that thing. There was no brakes. The wall was the brakes.
Top tier game for sure. Did you guys see that Tyreek Hill touchdown yesterday? Little fumble popped out of the side. That was insane.
Wasn't even doing anything. He definitely wasn't. It was the sorriest attempt by him to block. That just like
yeah, this is like a little push.
Highly available. Yeah. But one interesting thing, did you see that in fantasy football, you don't get points for the yards?
I was gonna bring up. Yeah, Field Yates tweeted that out.
Super lame.
He said FYI for fantasy football purposes, Tyreek Hill's touchdown only counts for 6 points as it was technically a fumble return for a touchdown. 57 yards he ran do not count as rushing yards, thus they are not accounted for in his fantasy total. It's treated like a punt return touchdown for Field Yates.
So yeah, somebody pointed out that just a couple weeks ago, Treylon Burks missed his block. The guy he was supposed to block ripped the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands, and then Treylon Burks just dove on it in the end zone. That play is worth the same as this play.
That is wild. How do you not get punt return yards? You should get punt return yards.
Well, it's not a punt.
But I'm saying it's treated like a punt return.
Well, I guess if your league does like 35 yards a point for return yards or something, then maybe you would get those.
I've always set up my leagues with punt return yards or kick return yards to some degree. The reason being, my philosophy is if your player's on the field and can get hurt, they should be able to also get points for it.
And if it's an important play in the grand scheme of the game, then it should count for something. Like I remember the year we decided to do that in my hometown league. The year before, Danny Amendola had like four kick returns, or like 3 kick returns and a punt return that went for like 70 yards, but he kept getting tackled at like the 5-yard line. So it was literally worth nothing.
No points. Yeah,
he just could not take it the distance. He would run like 80 yards and get tackled
right up to the edge.
So we were just like, all right, that play, and then of course we'd score a touchdown. So it's like we're like, all right, I think we got to make that worth something. 35 yards a point, I think, is fair.
Yeah, it can't be the same as like rushing or receiving because it's just too easy to get yards in punt return. You get like 25 right off the bat.
Or even
a lot of times,
like, passing is 25 yards a point. I think 35 or 50. 50, you don't really get anything out of it. But 35, pretty good, right?
Solid.
It's all right. It's all right.
100 return yards.
25 to 35, I think is fair. Well, 25 feels a little high. I don't know.
27. Call it a day.
Call it a day. 27. It's a good number.
Anything but that.
That touchdown confused me for a moment. Where like I knew Tyreek Hill scored a touchdown, and then I went and looked at the box score, and I was like, "Where the hell is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see it. Where the hell is it? Like no passing touchdowns at this point in the game, no receiving touchdowns. No, I was like, was it a rushing touchdown? No rushing touchdowns. I was like, it's one of those screwy ones. It's one of those ones that's going to confuse me every time I look at the box score for this week. It's going to be pretty rough.
It's a good play though.
Did you guys see after the Bucs 49ers game, Dre Greenlaw went up to Brady and asked him to sign the ball that he intercepted off of him?
I feel like awesome. He's not even the first person to do that either.
No, he's not.
That's like the coolest thing ever, man. So it's cool that Brady actually signed it for him,
If you're Brady, do you sign it?
Yeah.
100%.
Because it's such a huge compliment, right?
It is, yeah. Like I would like, even though it's frustrating because you just got wrecked and like this is like a sign of your mistake. The fact that they're asking for your signature on it says something about how they feel about you.
Yeah. If it's an accomplishment to the point where they want it memorialized with your signature that they picked you off, you're probably doing something all right. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not asking Patrick Mahomes to sign the interception that he picks off of him. He's not asking
because he's like, I'm gonna get way more of these.
Yeah. But I think from Greenlaw, it's like, people are gonna clown him or whatever. But like, what if your grandfather handed down a ball to you that like this was a home run I hit? Yeah, it's a home run I hit off Babe Ruth, right?
Yeah,
you'd be like, and he signed it for you after you get the home run off him. It's like, yeah, that's super cool, right? So like. Someday you're gonna, his kids might look back and be like, "Yeah, my dad picked off Tom Brady," and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, right, dude."
And they're gonna be like, "Who?"
And Tom Brady, who, dude? And the kid will be like, "He was the best football player, I swear." And everybody be like, "Yeah, right, dude." Everyone knows Brock Purdy's the best football player all time.
The GOAT, Brock Purdy.
The GOAT.
Like football. What's football?
She'll be like, the kid will be like, he was picked in the 6th round. And then the other kids will be like, Brock Purdy was the last pick of the entire draft, bro.
Who's been the most relevant Mr. Irrelevant?
Oh, Ryan
That's
Suckup.
a good question.
Oh, yeah. You're probably right there. Ryan Suckup. It's going to be hard to beat that level of relevancy from that pick. Yeah, Swag Kelly. Number 1 QB, Under Armour, All-American.
All-American.
I'll take a quick pick. I'll take a quick peek to see if anybody else has been more
influential. Also, Maria in here asked, did I miss the Velcro ball game?
Velcro ball.
The one where they give you the little pad that's covering the Velcro.
Yes.
I hated that one because the feeling of like peeling off Velcro is not nice. It's just like I always hated
everybody
when
liked that
one in PE.
You only play with that game at the beach, and the game ends when the ball gets wet. That's my experience with that game.
and then it's done.
Where's the nearest beach to you, Simon? Like the ocean beach? Oh, actually, it would be on
the Gulf.
Gulf, yeah.
Does the Gulf count as an ocean beach? That's
Absolutely.
ocean, right? Yeah.
It's
A couple
golf, but
hours.
yeah.
The Corpus Christi is about 2 hours away from me, not too far.
Yeah,
but
not bad.
I'm not going to lie. Not a great beach. Not
South
a
Padre.
great
How
beach.
far is South Padre from you? 4 hours?
It's like
5
4 hours from me. Yeah. I have not been, but I've looked it up.
That's where I bungee jumped.
That's where I should go bungee jump.
Remember we talked about bungee jumping last week sometime?
I do remember.
Yeah, that's where I went bungee jumping off that crane, was in South Padre.
Nice.
It was just in a parking lot. It wasn't anything cool. It was like a crane in a parking lot. Like most people bungee jump like off a bridge, like near, over a river or something. No.
Yeah, I would like, if the cord broke, I would love to like land in like the Colorado River. Not like
die there.
Not like in front of Coles. Like
in front of like trashy South Padre.
Is there some official news? It happened this weekend. The Denver Broncos have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. Russell Wilson will not be making it to the playoffs. This team that was a quarterback away got their quarterback, still has one of the best defenses in the league, and will not be going to the playoffs for the 7th straight year. Rip. Coop,
dude. Now
Seattle had tomato chewing jaw.
I can't wait. Yeah, warm up the old jaw. I've been doing my exercises. Very excited.
Teeth are going to be so red.
So rad, dude. And now that pick, Denver's pick that Seattle has, is now officially the 2nd pick in the NFL draft.
I feel like that happened with a lot of teams. Like there are multiple teams that traded their firsts that are now going to be like top 5, top 10 picks. The Rams, the Saints, and the Broncos, right?
You're saying the Seahawks pick? Now the Seahawks pick is 2nd overall?
The pick
because the Broncos?
Yeah. So here's the draft order. Houston would be first. If the season ended today, Houston would get the first pick. The 2nd pick would be Seattle with the pick that Denver traded them to get Russell Wilson.
Oh my God.
The third pick would be the Bears. The 4th pick would be the Lions with the pick they got from the Rams for Matthew Stafford. So the Rams would be getting the 4th pick if they had their own pick, but the Lions have it. Then the 5th pick is the Eagles via New Orleans. So 3 of the top 5 picks are all teams that were trying to win. So they traded away their first round pick and ended up being terrible.
And I'm not going to be shocked if Cleveland ends up in the top 10 by the end of this season. And they traded that pick to Houston. Right now, Houston's got the 12th overall pick. So they've got 1 and 12 right now with the Browns pick. And I'm not going to be surprised if the Browns lose a couple more down the stretch here. They have not looked so great the past couple weeks.
Man, Seahawks just played that perfectly, man.
The Patriots can never be bad enough to get a good pick, man. Why couldn't they're not a good team this year. They're not going to win anything. Why couldn't they just be terrible? Like, I want to be excited for one draft, one time.
Not just like pick 18 every year.
It's exactly, dude. Like at best 18. A bunch of times there's 32.
Yeah, but that's where you find the gems from like UTC, UT Chattanooga and stuff like that.
Lenore safeties from Lenore Ryan. Yeah. The only thing that would happen if Belichick had the 3rd pick is he would pick the same dudes he picks anyway. It would just be an even bigger reach. Some like lacrosse player from like DeVry.
LaGrange College in South Georgia.
LaGrange.
They played on a club lacrosse team in at a small private school in South Georgia.
Yeah.
Lacrosse player.
Broncos fans.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Your woes continue.
Tomato time. Let's ride.
Tomato time. Oh, that's gonna be gross to watch.
I know, dude. Especially with my mouth filled with salt. Secret salt.
Secret salt. I forgot about that.
We brought up Brock Purdy, but this little nugget, this little piece of information from the NFL, Brock Purdy is the first quarterback to beat Tom Brady in his first career start. It's never been done. Brock Purdy's the only quarterback. He's the only quarterback that's ever done that. Beat Tom Brady in their first career start. Mr. Irrelevant.
Dude, not only beat him, but absolutely blew them out.
Yeah. And Purdy looked good. Like it wasn't even just the defense. Like Purdy looked good.
Yeah.
He was doing like
fantastic.
he was doing like finger guns and stuff. Like he was.
I love it. I love it so much. I'm all about that hyped confidence.
As of now, he's QB6 on the week.
So the lowest he could be is QB8, unless one of the quarterbacks tonight gets injured and they threw 3 touchdowns before he did that. Then someone else comes in and throws 3 more touchdowns.
Colt McCoy, look out, dude.
Eddie H here asking, do the Seahawks and Lions draft QBs though?
There was a report out of the Lions camp this weekend saying that they do not view Jared Goff as a bridge quarterback.
Whoa.
Like that was the report. I need to find it, see where I said that, but I saw a report saying we do not view Jared Goff as a bridge quarterback. I don't believe him. I don't believe them at all. And I think if CJ Stroud, Bryce Young is sitting there at the Lions pick, that they take one of those young quarterbacks. Maybe even let Goff start for a year while that guy develops. But
I mean, the crazy thing is that even if you do take one of those guys, I mean, this league is about competition. So that doesn't even necessarily mean that Goff isn't going to have a chance to win the job. I mean, we've seen it before. The Packers took a quarterback in the first round, right?
Don't you dare use that as an example. Don't you put that evil on them, Coop.
Patriots have drafted a bunch of quarterbacks while they had Tom Brady. And I will say there's another little piece of that narrative that makes a lot of sense, is that Brad Holmes is the GM for the Lions. He was the head scout for the Rams when they drafted Jared Goff. So Jared Goff was a Brad Holmes guy. The trade between the Lions and Rams with the quarterback swap, there's more to it than just here's whatever our quarterback was for Matt Stafford. Like Brad Holmes took Jared Goff with him to a certain degree. So just saying. I'm
not that surprised by this. I mean, they seem to like Jared Goff. Jared Goff shows flashes of being good.
QB3
I don't think you can draft a quarterback in the first or second overall pick of the NFL draft and play that whole competition game. I think you'll get clowned for that, but I'm not surprised if they, I could see them doing a trade back potentially.
That makes sense for this team, right? Holes. There's a lot of holes on this team. That can make a lot of sense. Trade back. You can probably still get a top 10 pick. You know what I mean? Right. You can probably trade back, get a top 10 pick up an extra 3rd or 4th as well in the process, and you'll be good to go.
And if you believe in Goff, then that's all plus value.
Yeah. Craig, and you're saying Jared doing this well is a bit of a surprise after how Goffle he was in Los Angeles at the end. Absolutely. This stat, Ian Rappaport was the one who reported this, and he put out this stat as well. There are only 3 players that have multiple games with 4+ touchdowns this season. Those players, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
good,
and Jared Goff.
Awesome.
Jared Goff is the only other person in that list. And then one of 3 QBs with 5+ touchdown passes and 0 interceptions since week 10. Jimmy Garoppolo, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. He is making these lists. He's looking all right so far this year.
He's checking them twice.
He's checking them twice. He's gonna find out if he's a good football player and has the starting job going into next season.
Yeah. I mean, hey, kudos to us. We told everybody to get him in lineups this week. We told everybody to start him QB3. So pretty much geniuses on this show. Thanks.
Worked out and got Evan Ingram some work too over there.
Darn.
That's the wrong team.
Well, Trevor Lawrence was the QB1 overall on the week. Is the Trevor Lawrence breakout here? Is it from the Clemson guys? You guys,
it's been here.
We've been saying it.
If Ben had been here, that's what the Clemson boys say.
I mean, he's been killing it this year. He was bouncing around from that 10 to 12 range most of the season. Each week it goes up or down a spot, right? But he's been a QB1 the vast majority of this season. He's been a top 10 quarterback the vast majority of this season. That's a breakout right now. Right?
QB8, right?
QB8. He's killing it. Where did he get drafted? Not as the 8th quarterback off the board, I can't imagine.
Nah, dude. Yeah, at best, he was going in the 15 to 18 range. You know what I mean? It's like you get through the top 12, and then you'd see Justin Fields go, right? And then he was going kind of in the Tua range. So, definitely outplaying his ADP for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the names drafted ahead of him. Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, Trey Lance, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady. He was the QB 19 off the board, right in between Justin Fields and Jameis Winston. So Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence both really outperformed their ADP this year until Justin Fields got injured. But man.
And Tua as well. Tua from that range, that he's outperformed his ADP. He, missed a game, but if you look at points per game, Tua's up there too. Tua's like QB 9, Trevor Lawrence QB 10, Justin Herbert QB 11. So good company for those guys.
Tua and Justin Fields are two of my most drafted quarterbacks this year. I was pretty happy about that till Justin Fields got injured. And unfortunately, a lot of Derek Carr that didn't work out as well. But that's okay.
Wow.
I thought Derek Carr was going to kill it this year.
Everyone did. Conditions were perfect. But,
right?
I mean, in his defense, lost Hunter Renfrow, lost Darren Waller.
Yikes.
Rough.
Nice hiccup.
Excuse me right there. Yeah, sorry. The hiccups are killing me today. Hiccups are absolutely killing me. Mike White this weekend. I know they didn't get the win in Buffalo, but Mike White, that dude is freaking tough. He got knocked out of that game twice, comes back in. I think New York doesn't even care that they lost. Of course, they're sad they lost, but this feels like that quarterback was built to be the Jets quarterback. Does it not? Like something about his demeanor is just like Jets.
Rub some dirt on it. Dude, that hit by Matt Milano is about as hard as you can hit somebody without it being illegal. Like that was a pop.
Yeah. Rich Samini on Twitter leaving in an ambulance sent to the hospital precautionary per Salah.
What? I did not see that.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Then he jumped out and went back in the game. And then
he rode on top of the
He's
ambulance.
still got an IV dangling from his arm as he runs back in and throws a touchdown.
He's in one of those hospital gowns.
He just threw his jersey on over it, but his butt's open in the back.
His little Mike White tissue. That is a funny thought.
Keith coming in with the update said, yeah, he had some bruised ribs. They were worried there might be internal damage. Yeah, hopefully the dude's all right, but that dude's tough. I'm a Mike White fan. It was all memes for a bit there. Know what I mean? Like I feel like it was just like it was fun that Mike White was starting. It was funny that Mike White was starting getting all this attention, but dude might be for real.
I mean, it's still a lot of
now
memes.
It's what, JL?
Now it's serious.
It's still a bunch of memes. I saw people post because he got like bent in half and got hit. I saw a bunch of people posting like the like the magician like cut body in half memes. So there's still plenty of memes to go around. But looks like he's the starter. Looks good.
We got Albert in the YouTube chat saying good morning. Good morning, Albert. Welcome
morning, Albert.
And Tommy Coop, right as you started saying Matt Milano, it was instantaneous. Tommy came in the chat. That hit from Matt Milano was sucks.
Susk.
It was sucks.
It truly was.
So sucks.
It truly was. He
What does
got
that mean?
crumpled. It was sick, he said. That's what he meant.
Yeah, he got rumpled.
He got smashed up, dude. He got muckled.
Got absolutely muckled. Can I give you guys an update that has nothing to do with football real quick?
Guillotine?
So no,
nothing
not
to
with
do.
football at all. So we all know the new Pokemon games came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had too much time to play, but I got a little bit more time this weekend. And I've always had a soft spot for the Pokemon Dunsparce because it's just funny and dumb and little. And for years and years, people have been begging for an evolution of Dunsparce, which you haven't seen it. It's just like this little thing, yellow thing. It lays on its belly. It doesn't have legs or arms. And it's got like round button eyes. Looks useless. So they finally gave it an evolution. My Dunsparce evolved this weekend. It evolves into Dunsparce. And they just made it longer. They just added another segment to its body. It's the same exact Pokemon. It's just bigger with one more segment, and they changed the name to Dunsparce instead of
Is it powerful?
Yeah,
How do you feel about it?
It's pretty freaking strong. At first, I was like, I felt ripped off. Then afterwards, I was like,
Wait a minute.
those maniacs. Like,
I
I
love it.
love this because for years, like since Dunsparce came out originally, people have been like hypothesizing, oh, it's going to get a crazy evolution. Oh, this thing's going to get an evolution in a later generation. They finally did it, and they just made it longer. and said, "I'm done, Sparse. We're
They
done."
couldn't make it like everyone thought it was going to turn into a dragon. It just turned into. I'm looking at this thing now, and it looks just like a. Is it a fish or a caterpillar? Like, what is it?
No, it's just a thing.
What does it do?
It's just
a
it's a
land
normal
creature?
type.
Normal type.
That's
Yeah, super
also, is
normal.
that not the weirdest type for Pokemon? There's like water, fire, ground, and then they're like normal. This is
Normal.
just the normal kind over
Yeah,
here.
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Not like earth or ground, just normal, you know?
I got to get
That's
back in
pretty
those
fun.
games. Those games are so much fun.
I
You'd
still
like
have
the new
not
one.
played very much. Maria has
pretty fun.
decided to pick up Animal Crossing again, so
Oh yeah.
she gets the Switch. I haven't
she
had a
has-
chance to play Pokemon because she
So
gets the Switch.
She has a part-time job now.
Yeah,
It's like a cute furry animal farmer.
exactly.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of
Animal
work that
Cro-
game.
It's so much fun though. It is so much fun. You run around and pick weeds and go fishing and catch bugs and
It
you
is
fill
pretty
your
fun.
museum. It's just like peace in a game. There's nothing that you can do wrong. You're just doing it all the time.
I finally I bought it for Maria during the pandemic whenever it came out, and she got really into it. And then like a couple months went by, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll create a character. So I created a character on her island. She stopped playing. She didn't like it. Didn't like that I was on the island.
She
And
doesn't
then,
get away from you.
Like a year and a half later, she picked it back up after I stopped playing, and I was like, I won't play again. It's your island. You can have it.
I just
Take the
can't.
juice cup. Take the Switch. I don't care.
Sometimes the juice cup and the Switch. Sometimes I just feel like some of those games, like I'll be like in a game, like picking weeds, and then I like look out my window and realize I haven't mowed my lawn in a month and a half. I'm like sitting there on my controller, like like waxing the floor.
I look up and there's a lawn outside. For
Like, I wish this game's so much fun.
the worst one for
Weeds growing
that.
all out of control in your yard.
I've got a game called House Flipper on the Switch where you're just like buying and renovating houses. And my girlfriend walks in and I'm legitimately like painting a room. And she looks at me. She looks at the ceiling in the kitchen, looks at me and she's
Seriously,
like,
though.
you literally have to paint the ceiling in the kitchen. And you're over here sitting on the couch painting a fake wall in somebody else's house to like raise the value of that. And I'm like, this is relaxing though. That is stressful.
Chores simulator.
Or
Chores Simulator.
the one she makes fun of me for the most is
So
the
boring.
American Truck Simulator, where you just drive on cross country truck trips, and they'll be like from like Colorado to Washington.
Oh, you have one of
And you're
those?
just like
Yeah.
slightly moving.
Dude, I've always
You're
been
just like
intrigued
slightly
I don't
adjusting.
have it with the steering wheel. I have it. I play on the keyboard and stuff.
with
But
the custom rig at home with like the horn and stuff.
I wish.
Right.
I
It's
wish.
like a full housing. Did you sit in full
Leanne's
cab?
like calling you, and then she comes in and you like roll the window down and you're like, what is it? She's like, it's time for dinner.
right. She says, you need to paint the ceiling. You hit the honk horn.
Honk!
Couldn't hear you. Couldn't hear you over the rig. What was that?
Imagine she's just taking it so seriously that you have like a little cot in the back of your thing that you sleep in, dude. Just
Couldn't hear you over Lucille back there. What was that?
Tommy said 5 hour energy all around him. Yeah, the whole cab's full of
Just-
5 hour energy
Hasn't
bottle.
slept in a few days.
I've got a cat that you didn't know about that lives in the cab of that truck. There's just like a cat bed up in the front. Scott Fishing here said, which one would you recommend? I'm assuming he's talking about the Pokemon games.
I think he's talking about Animal Crossing.
Oh, the newest one. Just you always get the newest Animal Crossing. It's on the Switch. New
Pokemon
Horizons.
would make more sense.
So you don't
Pokemon
need
would
to
make more sense.
you don't need it's not like a Harry Potter book, like you can jump in at like the 5th.
Oh
one.
no, it's just that they're all the same game, just
They're
different.
not that deep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same game, just different. If it's Pokemon, it doesn't matter. They're basically the same. If your son thinks like ancient stuff is cooler, or if you think ancient stuff is cooler, if it's for you, get Scarlet because the Mega Pokemon are ancient. If you think robots are cooler, get Violet because it's got robots. Either way,
I got Violet.
that's the way you should go right there. They're basically the same game. Dustin in here saying, what's up, everyone? What's up, Dustin? Welcome in, my friend.
That's it. What up?
Coming up, we are going to answer Reddit's questions, and then we have a draft. We are drafting states today. We're going to put together teams of the best states, see who comes out on top. Jim Coventry is going to join us a little bit later today for some Monday Night Football predictions. And then we've got our Week 14 recap, running through what went down this weekend in all of these games. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Obviously, you've got a couple identities here, right? And so, yo, Lisa Ann's here. Let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy. What about my team? What do you think about my team? Like, that's dope, man. Like that brand you have built here is huge. And over in Switzerland, you're a big deal in Switzerland. Of course you are.
Very in Europe, all over Europe. But when I was at the Jersey show like 2 or 3 weekends ago, my security was shocked because every other guy legit handed me his phone and said, yo, Lise, can you check my lineup? Can you look on the waiver wire? I got bye weeks coming up. You're right. It's really neat how my worlds have become just this synergy between, me being me and then me reaching out to all of these different people and having this common ground that now it's like we're kind of bros when we talk about sports, right? We're just friends. We're all sharing the same heartbreak or pain. Sports is the international language.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Probably every team knows that inking starting pitchers to big deals and big money agreements is bad business. But that's the business they're in. What else are they going to do? That's what it costs to play the game. And all these pitchers realize it. I'd like to sit here and say, well, you should develop your own pitching. You should never pay these guys $25 million a year. But Ray, I don't think teams can do that. It's like the pitchers have a lot of power despite their weaknesses and despite their fragility. They still have so much control over the purse strings of these teams and these GMs and these owners. They don't care, Ray. They're seeing the same numbers we are. They know Jake DeGrom. If they sign him, you pray for 130 innings. Every team knows that, Ray. They may say something different, but they know what's going on. And Ray, it won't stop them. I mean, what do you think DeGrom gets in free agency this year?
I think he'll get 4 or 5 years, and he'll get 35 a year each, right? Paying $20 million for Drew Smyly is stupid. Paying $200 million for DeGrom is idiotic, in my opinion. Jacob DeGrom has had 14 injuries the last 2 years. Like, every part of his body, it's just, and he's phenomenal. But you can't be locked in. If DeGrom makes 25 starts, 26 starts, if he throws 150 innings, you could win your division. You could win the World Series. I get it. But if he does the other thing, which is what he's done the last couple of years, your team is so hamstrung, unless you're one of 2 or 3 teams, you can't spend your way out of that.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We got Spooky Season in the chat letting us know. I got Scarlet. They got the Pokemon Scarlet game, and Illmind Jedi had a question for us, a fun question. Make sure your mics are on so we can hear your answer for this one. Illmind Jedi said, which video game character would you want on your fantasy football team? Quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and tight end. There is one that jumped out to me immediately. Coop, the tight end. Tell me if I'm wrong here. Ganondorf is your tight end right here.
I mean,
Ganondorf.
Dude, he's absurdly tall.
Oh man, he do that little burst.
He's the bad guy from Zelda, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you guys
He's
ever
tall,
played him in
he's
Super
slow,
Smash,
but he is powerful. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, JL.
he does that little grab where he lunges forward. I feel like that'd be perfect for end zone or red zone passes. Just burst, catch it with that one hand.
For running back, let me get Sonic the Hedgehog. Because the thing is, he's not only is he fast, but when he gets there's contact, he can turn into that little ball and just smash through things.
Just
right?
go.
That's kind of how it rolls.
He's a good
right?
wide receiver too.
Sonic would be tough. I don't think he's got enough height though. I think he wants somebody with a little more height.
Maybe like Waluigi.
No,
wide receiver.
Stop trying to get Waluigi in things.
I think
It's so
Waluigi-
weird that you like him.
Donkey
not
Kong
right.
would be
Just not
Donkey
natural.
Kong would be a great tight end. Illmind Jedi. That I mean, tough
Here's
to
my
Turn this
running
into a whole
back.
segment.
Pac-Man. Pac-Man is my running back. Wonka, 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 wonka. Touchdown!
Just eats up all the defenders.
He is pretty elusive, I will say.
Yeah, he's getting out of there, no problem. Man, and at quarterback, I'm going Bayonetta. as my quarterback right here. I feel like she's got some
heck
reach.
is
She's got some
Bayonetta?
height. Bayonetta, if you've never played Bayonetta, you should download it today and have the most just shoot 'em up, absolute chaotic game experience.
Quintessential hack and slash.
Oh, it is so much fun.
Almost to the point where it's like funny how like just stereotypical hack and slash it is.
It is just, that's all you're doing the whole game. You're just mashing buttons, hacking and slashing.
I love that.
Scott said, Sonic, my kick and punt returner. My offense never needs to take the field. Save all the rest of my draft picks for defense.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Scott knows.
Not a bad move. I'd go maybe a Kirby, suck up the ball and just float above everybody.
Kirby's the wide receiver.
He'd be amazing linebacker. You just come through the hole. He's like,
Brick.
This is a fun one. That's a fun question. Great question.
Yeah, we got to turn that into like a I don't know, bracket or something, or draft.
Man,
We'll do it into a draft. It's naturally, it makes so much sense as a draft.
People keep bringing up Skylanders. We got to play Skylanders, boys, because that's another. Tommy says slam bam for Skylanders. I don't know. I never played it.
That's a different game. Skylanders is the one with the little action figures that Tommy was telling us about before, that you put on a platform and they go into the game.
Oh,
it's a great
I never played this
tool. Sounds like an expensive game.
I've seen it though. It looks pretty cool. And Jedi said y'all should do that. I think we are going to do this draft at some point. That sounds like a lot of fun. But guys, now
there goes my boss at Fantasy Live is going to be like, "Where is your article?" And I'd be like, "Well, I've been spending the last 3 days preparing for this video game fantasy football draft, so just deep in it."
I feel like that would get very contentious between us. Know what I mean? Like that one.
We're doing it now. We're doing it later this week.
Oh, I'm prepping. I'm truly gonna do research. Start prepping, coming up with the best ones.
Dustin said, "My son and I own all the Skylanders." Yeah, dude, I need a son bad, so I can just just so I can start spending. Dude, there's gonna if I could just get a son, there's gonna be so many model trains in this house. It's gonna blow your mind.
Like there aren't already.
There aren't, but there will be.
There's going to be so many more model trains in this house. You're not even going to be able to believe.
Everything will be delivered by train. Dude, I remember as a kid, my dad and his friends, one of them had a train set around his Christmas tree, and they rigged it up to deliver beers around the living room on Sundays while they were watching football. And I thought that was the best thing ever. And I was definitely in charge of putting the beers on the train.
And you thought it was sick. You were like, "This is awesome. This is so cool." And they were like, "This is so awesome. This is so cool."
Yeah, they did too. We all did. Yeah, we all the same thought. Yeah, just our stupid lizard brains as men were just trains, beer,
trains.
Choo-choo. And then there was a tree in there to really confuse you. You got some nature, tree, train, beer, football, Christmas. Ah!
Nobody wanted to go home. Nobody wanted to go home.
Scott said this is an off-season draft. Just watch us. And Tommy said, my son has over 300 Skylanders figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, your son's in trouble with your dad being the collectibles guy. I can see you just getting that in him early. The collectibles bug. Guys, we have some important questions to answer. Questions from Reddit. They've got questions for us. Hopefully, we have the answers for them. John Luke, did you check in with Reddit this morning, see what they were asking around?
I didn't, but Keith did.
Keith checked in with Reddit for us.
Perfect.
Oh, and they had some good questions. So I'm going to propose this first one. We are going to answer it. Here's the question. It's really important. Reddit wants to know, if you had to smell like one thing for the rest of your life, what would you want to smell like?
Who's going to be like gasoline?
A skunk.
My initial answers are all so boring. It's like my very first thought was skin. I just want to smell like clean skin.
Disgusting.
That's the default smell.
Smell like skin?
That's what you smell like when you just smell like default. I'm just saying, what's the default smell? I think skin smell is the default smell.
I don't think you smell like skin. It's just that you have skin. It's not the thing that's smelling, though.
That ain't it, Simon.
That's the rest of you. It's the stuff that comes out of the skin.
My immediate
out of my skin.
My immediate thought was obviously a little more normal,
penetrable fortress,
like a normal person might have. I just thought of like a very like non-invasive smell, like a very subtle like vanilla. That would be nice, right? But you don't always want to be smelling like vanilla, right?
Why not? Ooh, I
Vanilla is a
might,
pretty good smell.
I might visit if you smelled like vanilla all the time.
Yeah, come on by, dude. We'll play some trains.
Trains and vanilla. That's a pretty
Trains and
good
vanilla, dude. Make it a
Maria
weekend.
said vanilla is mine. Man,
Look out, JL.
you're right,
is-
Coop,
Your boy Vanilla Boy sliding in.
The spooky season said like a fire. That's got to be the worst. Like a bonfire.
It's
like-
okay. It is okay though. Like every once in a while, I do like that smell, but you can't
It
always
sticks on
smell
your
like
clothes
fire.
forever. You just stink.
Yeah, it is kind of cool when you have
Spooky's
like a
gonna be like
summer night,
cigars.
and then when you have a summer night, that's like cigars is what Mike Dickus always smells like. If you like,
AJ Hawk.
if you have like a nice summer night out, and then the next day your clothes smell like fire still a little bit, that's kind of cool. But yeah,
so it's like some.
not every day though. You don't want to smell like fire. Like you walk into a meeting at work and you just smell like
You
fucking
stink like
marshmallow.
bonfire. Like what the heck? Did
Dude,
you
smell like
I'm
a,
just
smell like a s'more.
I'm just imagining you in like one of those like high school drama movies, like where you go to the bonfire and then like you met a girl and like you guys held hands by the fire, and then you wake up the next morning and the shots of you in bed, you stretch out, take a little sniff of your clothes, and then you just lay back down smiling, arms spread wide, like as all the memories of last night come rushing back in.
That's what you picture those parties like in high school, but for me it was more like, hey, watch me shotgun this bear. And then I like fall asleep with my legs like up on a log. Like that. That's more like it.
You wake up in the fire pit covered in soot, like just
Watch me shotgun this beer. I trip, fall into the fire. Like,
you put it out.
Downer.
It's lucky you had
Ah.
already spilled a beer down your back previously, so you were soaking wet, and you put
You're
the
all
fire out.
sticky.
those
Everything is sticky.
cherished memories.
Ilman Jedi said cinnamon rolls. I like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
now you're
Cinnamon
talking.
rolls is a pretty good one. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good one. I'm gonna go a little bit different here. I'm gonna go with nostalgia.
What?
No,
I can't smell like nostalgia.
that's a different
Why
smell for
not?
everyone. You can't smell like an
Exactly.
idea.
I want to smell like nostalgia to whoever is sniffing me.
Okay,
So
well, here's
you
the deal,
s-
Dale. Nostalgia isn't always positive, I don't think, right?
I didn't say it was.
Mm,
That's on you if that's the case. It's not my fault. I just smell like
a lot
nostalgia.
of people are gonna not like you, dude.
Actually, it
I mean,
is
like,
usually generally
just-
pretty positive by definition, so I'm wrong.
God damn it.
Oh,
Yeah, but
really?
the thing is, though, it's like it's not always it's not always necessarily like a normal smell or what you want to smell like. Like, what, like I get
comfortable.
when you say nostalgia to me, I think of like at my parents' Christmas morning, and I'm eating like French onion soup. And
Dude,
now,
let's go.
now,
We drinking some soup together, bro.
yeah, but dude,
go.
now whenever I'm like, does this dude smell like soup to you?
Does this
J-
dude smell like my parents' living
JL
room on Christmas
JL's
morning eating French onion soup?
JL's pretty cool, but he kind of isn't me, or he kind of smell like soup. And then Simon's
I don't
like,
mind
he-
smelling like soup.
but he wouldn't smell like soup to you, Simon. So I would say that to you, and you would be like, no, he actually
Dude, you're a
smells like.
psycho.
I feel like he smells
Pokemon.
like
It smells like Pokemon.
he smells like the grocery store Publix.
That's your nostalgia.
Dude, time out, bro. Time out. We have to discuss Publix because we don't have Publix up here, but they have it in Florida. You know, my family, we go to Florida every year, bro. The sandwiches from Publix are banging.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. The pub
They're
subs are
banging. Why are
it's
those
one of the
so
things
good, bro?
I miss the most living in Texas is the pub sub. It is unbelievable what they can do behind that deli counter. And then truly, I was kind of joking, but they pump a smell through every Publix smells exactly the same because they actually pump a scent through the vents. They all have the same smell.
That's true.
Publix does. That's
kinda
true.
weird.
It's a true fact.
That's like the casinos just pumping the sound and oxygen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing. But
Wow.
Coop, you are so right about the sandwiches.
Dude, why are they? I was so my dad was like, this place has banging subs, and I'm like, this is a grocery store, you idiot.
He's like, why?
But he was
He's
so.
like-
Yeah,
He's
he
like, why did I have you?
he was so right though, dude. Now we go there, like it's a must stop. It's a must stop.
So Coop picked vanilla, light vanilla. JL picked nostalgia, and I picked skin. So hopefully that answers your question, Reddit.
Maria with the individual cheese balls for each bite. She remembered my dad's invention for French onion soup.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
French
That's
onion
what,
cheese
That's
balls.
what JL smells like.
Oh yeah. Like
dad
your
did.
dad.
Like my dad.
You guys ready for another one of Reddit's questions? I think we got time
Yes,
for
sir.
one more.
Okay.
Reddit wanted to know, what is the cheapest, most useful thing that you have? So the cheapest and
Cheapest?
most useful thing that you have.
Pretty easy.
Finger trap.
Chinese finger trap.
So much
I'll just
content.
I'll go with recency bias here. Is Maria has bought this little tick remover thing for whenever like Rosie gets like a tick, and it is the bomb. Like I'm so glad I don't have to use like tweezers or something because this thing just gets these ticks out. It's disgusting.
Very,
And it works.
Probably,
It's like a
probably,
piece of plastic.
probably pretty satisfying and helping to save your dog. So pretty
Exactly. And then I put it in a Ziploc bag and let it suffocate.
Here's what I got.
Yeah, you told us that, which is pretty
It's pretty weird.
I haven't used it in a while. This is more for any like people in school out there. A lot of teachers use those little red tickets for like drawings and giveaways, like give away a homework pass, stuff like that. Like they use them, like they hand them out as rewards. If you have any teachers that use those little red tickets, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can just buy a roll of 2,000 of them at Staples for like $6. And then you can win every single drawing from that point on forward. You just carry it in your book bag, bring it to school, and you pack the box every couple of days. You drop a couple in on the way over. Every time you get one, you drop 10 in. You're gonna be a champion.
Thing is, you have to have a showdown. Oh, you just drop your own in. But when someone pulls the same number as you, you have to like call them a liar and stuff.
You're right. Or
Yes.
a lot of them do it where you just like write your name on it. Like they're not doing the numbers. It's just like a ticket itself.
Oh, there you go, dude.
See, Maria,
Not
a teacher in the chat says, I own a huge roll of those.
Of course she does. Maria with an
You
amazing
do?
answer. Toothbrush.
I can just go in there. We have them in our basement or something. Tell me where they are, Maria.
Something like that. So I'm gonna go with the roll of tickets as the cheapest but most useful. It's not traditionally useful, but it's a very useful thing that you can get at Staples. People don't realize you can just go buy it.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've gotten the most mileage out of, probably these puppies right here. The Mr. Cool.
Haterades.
And they're good for your eyes, right? You don't want that. I don't wear glasses outside as much. I rarely wear glasses outside. I only wear them inside on this show.
Really?
But you really should wear them. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I'm like so dependent on my sunglasses now. I'm like blind when I walk outside if I don't have them.
Yeah, no, I always forget them. They're always here. They're always here at my computer desk, so I forget them.
My problem is I have to pick which way I want to be blind when I walk outside and it's sunny because I don't have prescription sunglasses. So I either have to choose the sun is in my eyes or I can't really see. So I generally just pick I can't really see over the sunglasses unless I'm like on the lake where it doesn't really matter if I'm seeing very well. I guess maybe that should matter. What if there's a snake or something? Maybe the lake is one of the more important places to see. And when I'm just like walking my dog, I should just wear some regular sunglasses.
Do you guys have poisonous snakes where you live?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think we have them here.
None? You gotta have some.
We might have water moccasins, but I don't really think we
Those
do.
are
actually.
shoes.
Oh, there are poisonous snakes named water moccasins.
Oh, I thought those were shoes.
I guess we do have.
Coops, like everything I said, ignore it. There's lots of poisonous snakes here.
Sorry, they're venomous, Simon, not poisonous.
Oh,
You're right.
Damn, hit you with a clap back.
That's
That's fair.
I was
yeah.
I was the first one to say poisonous there. I guess we
You
do
were.
have a couple.
Definitely a couple. When I was a kid, we used to go snake hunting where we would just catch snakes around the yard. I feel like
Damn.
maybe my parents should have stepped in, but we were like Steve Irwin obsessed. We'd go flipping rocks. And most times we'd come back empty handed, but a couple of times we came back with like some rat snakes, some garter snakes. But one time we caught this 5-foot long racer snake. I was like 8 years old and my friend's older brother was over. He was like 12. And we caught this giant snake and put it in a glass aquarium in my backyard. And my parents came out and were like, okay, no more snake hunter. Like we didn't know you could actually find a 5-foot snake in our backyard.
Now,
That's
did you grow up in
terrifying.
San Antonio? Where did you grow up?
The Atlanta area. I grew up in Georgia.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep. You mention that every time Dio's on.
We got snakes over here, though. Snakes over there, snakes over here, snakes everywhere. JL, any other cheap things but useful things you wanna let Reddit know about?
I think that's it. I think we nailed it.
We nailed it. You got it. So our answers were skin, nostalgia, and vanilla as the cheapest, most useful things that we own.
Pretty good.
You know what? I think we helped Reddit out pretty good this morning. Now they know what to smell like and what cheap things to buy. So, Coop, what were you going to say?
You're welcome, Reddit.
You're welcome. Guys, coming up, we've got our state's draft. We have Jim Coventry joining the show for Monday Night Football predictions. And then we've got our Week 14 recap, running through all of this week's games, letting you know what happened, what you need to know, and what it means going forward. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on the Better Sports Network.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body
hurt.
didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
Nah, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
To get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think that he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31 he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15. To his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into our ever-important states draft. This is the draft of states, whatever criteria you want to use. I heard earlier, are we living in them? Are we ruling them? None of the above and all of the above. It's whatever criteria you want for drafting a state right here. If you think it would be the best state to be a king of, fine. That can be your criteria. Just let us know. If you think it's the best state to go live in, let us know. If you just like the idea, the vibe of the state, you think they're important in this union, you can draft them. Let us know. Just let us know your reasoning, and any pick is on the table. It's going to be snake draft, and let's determine the order randomly right now. I've got a random number generator. JL, we're going to randomly generate your position in the draft first. You ready?
Yep.
You got third. You are drafting on the turn,
Shoot.
JL. Coop,
All right.
we're going to do yours now. You've got the first pick, which means, again, I am sandwiched in.
I'm taking Pokemon.
Coop's got the first pick. I've got the second pick. Jail's on the turn right there with the third overall pick, which means, Coop, you're up first. All 50 states on the board. Which state
Quick map of this.
are you taking with the first overall pick?
Get the map up here.
Are we
I'm
including
gonna take-
territories?
I'm going to take this.
Is it a states and territories draft, or is it just the states draft? Because I'm
Oh,
fine
wow.
adding territories in there.
Your call. I'm not going to
If
take
you want to draft a
first.
territory, you can draft a territory. That's fine.
Nobody's going to.
Well,
Guam.
maybe, dude. A
Guam.
lot of good.
Oh,
Lot of good
shoot, I
fo-
just gave away my sleeper pick.
lot of good football players from American Samoa.
That is true.
Okay, so looking at this map, I'm going to take the big one on the left. So I'm looking at this, and I've always actually thought this in my mind, where it's like if you really think about the way the U.S. is set up, you got this one coast, the East Coast, and it's all divided into these tiny little states, and then you have the other side, the West Coast, where it's like one state is the whole thing. Like if I take California here, I'm basically getting the equivalent of like Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the whole gamut, right? I get wine country, I get surfing. Unfortunately, I have LA, but we'll see if we can clean that up. There's a lot going on, dude. I got Yosemite, right, dude? Pretty cool, right? El Capitan, you know what I mean?
You don't have to
So,
convince us.
yeah.
We all know California is the 101.
Oh no, I am laying out my case, and I make sure to rub it in. So I'll take California.
Maria, I see
Clear
Maria
pick.
saying, can Simon or Coop name all 50 states? Maria, I play way too much Sporkle to not be able to name all 50 states. Like just an absurd amount of Sporkle quizzes.
Yeah. And the
I got
capitals, dude. I know all the capitals too. And I can spell Pennsylvania correctly, Maria.
Oh, I can't.
Oh,
I type Pennsylvania, then right
Shots
click,
fired.
right
Shots
click, correct.
fired.
Albert wants to know, are you taking Texas, Simon? It's my pick, and I'm not taking Texas with this pick.
Wow.
You may think I'm a little bit biased, but my pick is going to be the state of Georgia. I think
Ew.
Georgia is a top tier state in the United States. It also has a little bit
Reach.
of everything.
big
You've
reach.
got Atlanta, which is the greatest city in the United States. Atlanta is top tier. It is the home of hip hop. Songs don't make it in hip hop without getting played at Magic City first in Atlanta.
Reach.
You're going to argue with Professor
New York-
Lupe Fiasco. Professor
New
Lupe
York's the home
Fiasco
of
says,
hip hop.
what'd you say?
So New York's the home of hip hop.
Take it up with Fiasco, not with me. Professor
take it up.
Professor
Take it
of
up.
hip hop, professor of rap.
I'll take it up with Fiasco when he
you ever
lowers
heard
his
of-
ticket prices from $450.
Yeah. He's like, the homeboy over here is like, yeah, ludicrous. Meanwhile, New York has like Jay-Z, Notorious B.I.G., Nas. Like, yeah, nice try, dude.
It's just the landscape of modern hip hop. You guys can argue all you
Modern
want.
hip hop, you can make an argument.
Modern hip hop.
Not the
he
birthplace
says.
of hip hop, though.
Big
I said
boy.
a song doesn't make it now without I didn't say birthplace. Why are you throwing that on here? When did I say birthplace of hip hop?
I forget the words you used, but it made me think you were saying the whole, like where it came from. It's not New
all
York. There
hip.
it is. New York.
He said that all hip hop needs to pass through Atlanta for approval, like some sort of hip hop customs. It sounds like
They do have a lot of good hip hop. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of good artists come out of Atlanta.
Okay,
All right,
that was the
let's-
point
let's
I
let
was
him-
making.
Let's let him make his pick. All right, you picked hip hop.
Economically, it's a great state. They've got the movie industry in Atlanta now. Atlanta's got the booming movie industry. But then
They've
you
got
get
Tyler
outside of
Perry.
it. You get outside of Atlanta. Tyler Perry Studios, legit. It's on an old military base. And so
Yeah.
they've got like it is huge. It is massive. It is awesome. You can be in a movie. Stranger Things was filmed there. And then you go outside of it. You've got the beach. You've got the islands. You've got the barrier islands along the coast of Georgia. Savannah has great vibes.
Savannah.
Weather, you get the seasons in Georgia, and then you get the trees, you get the nature, you get the mountains, you get the bluegrass area, or no, the Blue Ridge area. I think Georgia's a top tier state. I'm rolling
All
Georgia.
right. In Georgia.
Massive reach. All right.
So it's me on the turn here, right?
Let me just switch over my rankings to where Georgia is.
You guys are sleeping. This is Josh Jacobs all over again. I'm telling you.
Josh Jacobs.
I'm just kidding. I didn't write Georgia down.
Tommy guessing I'm going to go New York and Florida. I'm trying to
Hey,
side.
no
you.
spoilers in the friggin' chat, Tommy.
He's guessing. This ain't no spoilers.
Jail's not going Florida. I can tell you that.
This is
I might
like
go Florida.
this is like in your real fantasy football draft when some dude's like, hey,
No one's taken Evan Ingram yet.
he's still available. Then he comes out and he scores 45 points on Simon's bench.
All right, I'm gonna go Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn it. That's a great
That's
pick.
too
I
fair.
forgot about
That's
that
too
guy.
fair.
He's hiding.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna make it back to me. I had to go Hawaii here, and I'm also gonna go. I'm gonna go Florida.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Florida. We're gonna just like Coop said, we're gonna clean that bad boy up.
You
We're gonna
cornered
make
the
that
market.
brand new, but
Going to the market on fun places. Yeah, sorry.
fun places. I'm gonna lose it to the ocean pretty soon, but that's okay. We're gonna enjoy it while we're here, and we're gonna party in Miami, baby.
That's okay.
Thought
Coop's
about going to
entire
New York.
first overall pick is going to fall off the edge of the country at some point. So you guys will have that in common.
Pretty cool.
I think Georgia's probably with us. I'm sure Georgia's coming with us.
No,
The
it
whole
just
East
gets
Coast
it
is
gets more
probably going.
coastline. It's just gonna steal your coastline down there in Florida.
You will be the new Florida after a while.
Keith in the chat got my back. Said, "Really, Florida? We're talking about Florida. Would rather have Georgia." I
I
will
don't know,
say though,
man.
JL, a lot of my argument was built around the city of Atlanta. Miami's a kick-ass city. Miami's a pretty damn cool city.
Plus you get
Yeah.
Disney World. That's pretty tight, dude. Busch Gardens.
But the problem with Disney World is it's in Orlando. So that there's the rest of that.
True. But if I own the state now, I'm just gonna kick everybody out.
He's cleaning
Too
it
much.
up.
Clean it up. Only
just-
let the people I like in there.
Just completely bulldoze all of Jacksonville.
Yeah. See, I thought about New York. Tommy was a good guess. The only problem is I don't really want New York outside of the city. So
Even the city.
you want to pick you get to deal with the whole rest of the state.
Even the cities are kind of just a lot of walking around like, oh, look at it.
I love New York City, but
Me
yeah.
too. So it's my pick. JL took Hawaii and Florida, which means I am up. You left a monster there on me on the board, JL, but I agree with you. The reason I hadn't taken New York is because it's New York City, and
That's it.
I don't know anything else about the state of New York. That is
Cold,
the only place I have
snowy.
ever been in the state of New York. So I think I'm going to go with the nature lovers paradise. I'm going to go with the state. There's a reason people move there rapidly. There's a reason property prices are skyrocketing. And that's because it's hard to get more beautiful and have easier access to outdoor activities than the state of Colorado. So Colorado is going to be my next pick right here.
It's a solid state.
Good pick.
That one was in my rankings. I actually wrote the word Colorado. I'm like Georgia.
Thanks for the approval, Coop. That's what I was fishing for this time because it really hurt my feelings the first time.
That's Georgia's fine. Georgia is a fine pick. All right.
So you're on the turn.
Now I could go with the chalk here.
Maria said upstate New York is gorgeous, you doof.
I know.
And Dustin
it
as
is.
well in here agreeing, saying you guys are sleeping on the rest of New York. I don't
It's
disagree. I've just
fine.
never been.
It's
I got nothing
fine.
else to say about it. I've never been.
I've been to
Yeah, dude,
upstate.
you
It's
gotta go,
nice.
man.
It's nice.
Gotta go
but I'm not
to-
picking it in the second or first round.
Probably Lake Placid. Dude, the racetrack at Saratoga. New York's got a lot to offer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
Never
take
been to the
New-
racetrack, but I've been up there.
I'm gonna take New York, dude. I'm gonna take New York and go visit. Yeah, I will go visit Uncle Keefy. Let me get New York. I'll take the chalk with the first pick, right? And then with my second pick, I'm gonna make a. Part of me wants to just take Texas and just have the powerhouses, but I'm gonna pivot here and I'm gonna go with Massachusetts, right? Unbiased pick,
Classic.
state of champions, quite a few parades, quite a few trophies here, obviously title town. But the thing is, I got plenty of fun stuff to do in California and New York. Massachusetts brings a very rational mix to my group because you're talking about some of the best schools in the world. We got like Harvard, MIT, that whole lot. We've got some of the best hospitals in the world, right? We've got the Patriots, one of the best organizations in the world, right? So Massachusetts, it's beautiful in the fall, right? We got the foliage, we got pumpkin pie, we got lobster, we got pretty much everything you can offer as far as a place to live. So taking the level-headed pick in Massachusetts instead of the I mean, Texas doesn't even want to be part of the United States. Bunch of traitorous cowards, really. So I'm going to pick Massachusetts here. Pretty clean.
Coop picking Massachusetts. That means it's my pick. I am on the clock here. Coop took New York and Massachusetts on the turn.
You know what? Now I think of it, since I had the swing, I should have made a point to take Massachusetts before New York, just to spite New York.
You messed it up. You messed it up. Here's where I'm rolling. We're sticking out west with my pick. My next pick, it's going to be. Oh, man. I don't know if it's a good pick now. No, it's what I'm going to do. It's based mostly on a city, but the rest of the state is beautiful desert. I'm going to go with Nevada and take the sports gambling capital of the world. They've got Las Vegas there. And then I've heard Reno's an underrated city. I just drove through on my way to what's that lake out there? You know, the really cool one? Tahoe. On my way to Lake Tahoe. I flew into Reno, but I feel like Nevada, maybe the rest of the state getting slept on a little bit. In the geography out there, just for me coming from the East Coast where I was raised, the first time I went to the Nevada and like flew over it, I was like, where the hell am I? It looked like an alien landscape. It was so cool.
How is Lake Tahoe, by the way?
Unbelievably beautiful. I was there in October, and it was like, I was like, oh, this will be cool. And it was like breathtakingly like one of those moments where you're like, shit, nature's wild, man. Like where you're just like, this is so cool.
I love that. That's how I felt when I was in Switzerland, dude, on the train trip. I was just
that
like,
looked
this
insane.
Crazy, bro.
Joey said, is Colorado still on the board? It is not. I took Colorado in the second round. So far I've got Georgia, Colorado, and Nevada. And Jail, you've got 2 picks.
I do have 2 picks, man. I am struggling here. I know one of them, but I haven't picked the other yet. The first one I'm going to go with is Washington, state of Washington. I lived there for a summer. It was gorgeous. I lived in Seattle. Just everything about Washington is so nice. It gets a little chilly up there, but it's fine. You can go north, go to Canada, Vancouver if you want, not that far away. You got mountains, you got the city, Seattle. It's a beautiful state.
I mean, I think it's a good pick, dude, but we're getting to that part of the draft when you're like selling Canada as part of your pick. You're like, you can leave.
You can leave if you want. You can go to a different place.
It is like
you can go to a totally different place. I mean, Vancouver is like right there, though, so I get it.
Yeah, drove up there with a bunch of interns.
Do you like the rain?
It's fun actually going to the border patrol for Canada, and us like 4 guys that just met, all from different like parts of the world with various passports and things because we were all interns. Yeah, they didn't like that too much. How do you guys know each other? We're like, we just met.
They were like, get out of the car.
Yeah. They were serious. I thought Canada is all fun and games.
I've heard that they mean business. That they do not mess around at those border patrol spots.
That's why every 6 months a rapper gets arrested. Or I'm pretty sure that's also how former Patriots defensive back Patrick Chung got in trouble too.
Really?
At the border?
Yeah, I think he had some drugs when he was crossing the border.
Yep. Jail, did you figure out what your next pick's going to be?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Montana.
Wow. You wanted Montana, Simon?
I was considering it. It was near the top of my list. I thought it kind of went with the theming of my picks. Like I thought it worked out.
It's like it's on the top of my list of places I want to go just because of how many beautiful parks are there. Just natural, like nature stuff. It's just so beautiful, apparently.
And when global warming hits, you'll have a place to go.
True.
You can go there.
I feel like so that's like the safest place to be, I feel like.
Does that put me back on the clock then?
That does.
Jail, I like the Washington pick. I like the Montana pick. Washington, birthplace of like grunge music. So you got that going for you. And I used birthplace here because I mean it. That's where it came from. It was from Seattle over there.
Alice in Chains.
I don't know where to go with this next pick. There's so many just options.
Alabama?
No, I'm not going Ohio. Just kidding. You couldn't pay me to pick Ohio right here. I think what I'm going to do right here.
$50 go Ohio right here. I'll Venmo you right now.
Really? I could really use $50.
Do it.
I'll literally open Venmo right now. If you take Ohio.
You got the expo.
You know what? Pro Football Hall of Fame sitting there in Canton. You go to Cincinnati for the best chili you've ever had. You want chili on spaghetti? They got you in Cincinnati. Unbelievable zoos in the state. And then if you are a fan of roller coasters, you start at the south, you hit Kings Island, you get some of the oldest wooden roller coasters in the country, the Beast and Son of the Beast. It's hard to beat those. You keep on going north, Lake Erie. You can go out on the lake. And then right after you're done on the lake, you head to Cedar Point, to the park with the most roller coasters in the United States. And that's completely ignoring the sick city that is Cleveland, Ohio. With my 4th overall pick.
Wait, no, now I don't want you to do it. Now you're talking too nice about it. Now I don't want to pay $50. I feel like I just got played.
I am going to take Delaware.
Get out of here.
Delaware.
Delaware is my pick. And here's why.
Have you been to Delaware?
No, but that's okay. I've also never met someone from Delaware, and I know nothing else about it besides the scene in Wayne's World where they go, "Hi, I'm in Delaware. It's me in Delaware." Here's why I'm taking it.
Okay.
The other states, I'm not trying to rule over. I'm not trying to like be the proprietor of Georgia or Colorado or Nevada. That sounds like a lot of work. I could be the king of Delaware. I think I can manage that on my plate. I think I could like manage that small state. It seems like a bit of a blank canvas for me to just turn into the state that I want it to be. And so Delaware is joining me as just like a peaceful, calm, I am going to take over this state and rule it with an iron fist as the dictator of Delaware.
I feel like all of those northeastern cities are like that, though. Like Rhode Island, you could definitely, that's your blank canvas. Connecticut, blank canvas. Vermont.
I can't believe you just laid out
blank
all
canvas.
that about Ohio and then picked Delaware basically because what movie was it?
Wayne's World.
Just going with
Oh,
some
but
Wayne's
Dustin's
World
got
reference.
me. No
He said
sales tax in Delaware.
Their
Yeah,
taxes
there's no-
are very friendly.
There's no sales tax in New Hampshire either.
Fun fact, Delaware is like the spot for people from where I grew up, my area, and like Maryland stuff. Everyone would go to Delaware in the summer. That's the beaches are there. And so that's
That
like
sounds
a
pretty
big
good.
spot. It's a big spot for Maryland folk
Yeah,
here.
Delaware, famous for its beaches. All right, am I up?
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Texas.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
probably should have taken Texas.
There's
It's all yours.
a bunch of stuff
I don't want
going on,
any-
dude.
Any part
Look
of
at
that.
all
Texas-
the things I'm learning about Delaware. Biden's from Delaware. I knew that somewhere in the recesses of my
Texas is
brain.
dope. Got the two. Well, is Alaska bigger than Texas?
Yeah,
No,
Alaska's the biggest state.
Alaska's the biggest state. Well, yeah, I don't want Alaska though. I mean, are we doing another round or are we wrapping it up?
This is your last pick.
Last pick of the draft. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If we put this up on Twitter, not sure if we're gonna blast it out there, but this is just this is yet another poll where you guys I'm gonna get like 80% for like the 5th time in a row, dude. My states are you guys are picking like Delaware and stuff. My states are California, New York, Texas, Massachusetts, dude. Powerhouse. Slam dunk, dude.
What's your last pick, Coop?
I don't get another pick because that would be start another round.
This is your last pick.
This is your last pick. Your last
Sorry, I
round.
was saying this is your last pick right now.
Yeah, I picked Texas.
No, right
What?
now. Now
Wouldn't-
is your last
5
pick. You're on the
rounds.
turn. 5
You're on
rounds.
the-
you got
and
more.
then you guys pick more.
Right.
You guys-
Yes.
One more each.
This is your last pick.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna take a since I now I know it's going up on the poll. Now I know that it's going up on the Twitter. I'm gonna take a crowd pleaser in.
I'm gonna fight you if you don't make your pick right now.
Shut up, dude. I'm gonna take
take
Tennessee.
Texas
I'm gonna take Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee.
Tennessee.
because you're the
taking-
only 10 I see.
Yeah, I'm taking country music, fried chicken, all that there. I almost took Kentucky for bourbon, but I think
Tennessee's a pretty good pick.
People
it was
like-
on my list.
people
You
seem
get
to like
Nashville. You get some good college football as well.
hot chicken.
Gatlinburg.
It's a great state.
Derrick Henry.
Ripley's, I can't believe it or not.
My last pick. I'm gonna roll with another state on the East Coast. It's pretty cool. They are known for their crabs, their Old Bay seasoning. They have lots of rats in their main city in Baltimore. But I'm gonna roll with Maryland as my last state here. It's got a lot
Great
going
choice.
for it. It's a pretty cool state.
It's a solid
my
pick.
friend Maria lives there.
My friend Maria also lives there.
Jal,
Oh,
you got the
man.
last
All
pick
right.
of the draft. Where are you
Last pick.
rolling?
Last pick, I'm gonna go with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is huge and has so many cool stuff.
Has so many cool stuff. You got Hershey, Pennsylvania. You got Amish country. You got
Amish country's
Steelers
lit,
fans.
bro.
Oh, it's
Amish
so
country's
lit.
lit.
Yeah. You have
Talk about theme parks.
You have to sweep out all the Steelers and Eagles fans, though.
Got Lake Wallenpaupack. You got mountains, everything.
Sesame Place.
Pittsburgh.
Lake
Philly.
Wallenpaupack? What's the lake?
Lake
Lake
Wallenpaupack.
Wallenpaupack.
Lake
Well,
Wallenpaupack.
Yep,
Lake
nailed it.
Wallenpaupack.
You nailed it.
You got it. Guys, that is our states draft. We are going to post the results on Twitter for you guys to vote on who had the best draft. I know it's me, but it's a formality. We're going to have to run through it. Coming up shortly, we've got our friend Jim Coventry joining the show for some Monday Night Football predictions. And then we're going to run through week 14, recap all these games, let you know what happened and what you need to know. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, you know, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz best adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I detach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how's the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn
bots showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about first vision, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining us right now for some Monday Night Football predictions, we've got our great friend Jim Coventry coming up. For those of you that do not know Jim, you can find him on Twitter at Jim Coventry NFL. He's an NFL analyst over at RotoWire and a host on SiriusXM Fantasy Radio. Jim, thanks so much for joining us today, my man.
Always excited to join you guys. Thanks for having me.
Let's go. On it, Jim.
Yeah. Really? Oh, look at the guns he just threw up right there.
Guns.
You're making me realize I need to go work out today, Jim.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
I don't know. The guys at the bus stop have been heckling me recently, Jim, about my arms. They've been saying your arms are getting skinny, man. Getting skinny arms. I'm getting heckled as I walk out my front door. It's happened like 3 times this month.
Every morning.
Every morning when I let the dogs out, someone's just standing at the bus stop to heckle me.
Yeah. There's a bunch of construction workers out there. When you don't come outside, they're like, "Where the hell is he? We're gonna be late for work."
How have you been, Jim? How's the NFL season treating you?
Cannot believe it's the end of week 14. This year has flown by, but there's been so much to learn. Like every week, there's like a vast learning curve. This has been one of the craziest years. Usually in the NFL playoffs, we see the real game plan specific game plans, Belichick's exception. This year, starting in week 5, teams really started to change that equation. And it's been very cool to see how it's changed and how we can have a different approach to analyzing these games.
Yeah, love that.
No, it's been wild. And I think, Jim, that's probably the reason we've seen way more of these like unpredictable upsets this year, right?
100%. And just like, let's do a real narrow case study. Tennessee Titans. 4 of their last 5 opponents have oversold out to stop the run. And they said, you know what, Ryan Tannehill, you're going to beat us. If you beat us, great. Now, yesterday, Jacksonville didn't do that as much, but most of these other opponents had done it. Varying levels of success, but we're seeing it. We see it with the Giants. The Giants got figured out. It's these one-dimensional teams. And in the past, it would only be in a playoff scenario where teams would really go overboard. One-dimensional teams, and that, like you said, that's causing the volatility. So when you're playing DFS, you have to strongly consider the weak side of the one-dimensional team because they're getting the favorable matchups this year.
Yeah, teams are finally catching up to what Bill Belichick, and the funny thing is people would say Bill Belichick would do it. They'd be like, hey, this guy likes to take away what you want to do best. They make you pivot, right? And we sat here saying that, and then finally somebody was like, hey, the best coach keeps doing this. Why don't we do what he does? Right. And that's what you see with, people piling on Justin Jefferson, trying to take him away, or, it's so pretty interesting. And you watch the Bengals do it against the Chiefs. Great example the week before where they kind of they sat back and they said, okay, Mahomes likes to scramble around, find something downfield. We'll just take that away and let him throw underneath. It worked, man. If other teams start doing that, they could be in trouble.
Coop, I was glad you mentioned Justin Jefferson. So the Thanksgiving night game, when I previewed that, I said, Bill Belichick is going to try to take away Jefferson, but he does not have the personnel, even with double teams, to do it. And Jefferson totally shredded. He was double teamed much of that game. They didn't have the personnel to deal with him. So we have those occasional situations where good luck, because this player is transcendent. A running back you could stop easier than a receiver. But Jefferson can do so many things, right?
Can't be stopped, bro. He can't be stopped.
Nope.
I think he's my 101 going into next year. We've talked about this before, but I think Justin Jefferson is if I've got a first overall pick, that's where I'm going. It just feels safe, and feels like the upside just unreal for a player like that. You're not sacrificing floor to get that upside either. Jim, we brought you on here to run through some predictions for Monday Night Football tonight. We've got the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals facing off, and we got a bunch of different questions about this game that we're all going to take shots at predicting. Keep track of it, and we'll see how we did on it tomorrow, or I guess later tonight, depending how much energy we have after this game. If it's a close game, do you guys have that where, if the game's not close, someone wins by 20, you can fall asleep afterwards, no problem, but if it is a last-second Hail Mary touchdown or an overtime game-winning field goal, I'm up for another hour. I'm wired. I'm like, let's go! And all that's on TV is the late shows or the Amazon Prime post-game concert where they make one of the players sit in their little room with them.
I remember that random Seahawks game on I think it was either Monday or Sunday night where the punt got blocked and the punter picked it up and punted it again. And I was just lying in bed at night, just you can punt it twice. My brain was ruined. I was literally just lying there in my bed. I was like, you can punt it twice. What happened? How is that possible, dude?
I've never thought of it.
Can you punch it 3 times?
Just up all night.
How many times can you punch it?
How many times can you punch it? I was like, how is this possible? Watching this
Coop's
game
wife
for
wakes
so
up
long.
and just looks at him, and the first things he says is, "Can you punt it 4 times? Can you punt it 4 times?"
I'm shaking her.
The football has become a pinata. Take as many hits as you can.
Chopping away, dude. I actually saw one this week. I don't think I've ever seen it where the punter he dropped it accidentally and then he just kicked it right off the ground.
Yeah.
So,
what game was that?
I forget, man. But it's every week in this game. We talk about this game every single day, right? Even when I'm not doing a show, which I guess is just Saturday, I'm on Twitter talking about it, and then still something can happen that I've never seen before. It's just such a crazy game. I love it.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill picks up a fumble and takes it to the house.
Yes.
It's wild, man. Yeah, you didn't have that in your. It's crazy. My spreadsheet missed that one. Didn't predict that one. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Right.
It's right here, Coop. If you were just looking at my notes, this is the secret. It's right here.
It's actual drawing of how they hit
questions.
He's gonna pretend to block here, and then he's gonna pick it up.
Yeah,
just like I drew it up.
Just like Mike McDaniel and I drew it up. He called me for that play. We figured it out, guys. The Patriots Cardinals game is tonight. The Patriots are 1.5-point favorites on the road. The first question is simple, Jim. I'm going to throw this one to you first. Who's winning this game?
You know what? The Patriots have some significant injuries. Jacoby Myers is out. Damian Harris. I know Ramondre's the guy, but it's still depth. Isaiah Wynn, their great tackle, is out. Jalen Mills, one of their top corners, is out. I think those injuries are all key, especially maybe not the Damian Harris. The other three are key. Patriots are the Cardinals are without Rondale Moore, but that doesn't worry me because Greg Dortch is filled in. I think the Cardinals are going to eke this one out.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point with the running backs is that like Belichick has always made sure to have multiple running backs, right? Pass game back, early down back. He drafted 2 more this year, but with the injuries, Ramondre Stevenson played 53 of 54 snaps last week, and he was gassed, man. He was gassed to the point where Mac Jones was pissed. He was like, "Stop running it! Like, we can't give the guy the ball every play." And he counts for 30% of the production for that team this year, yards wise. So, yeah, it really does fall on one man's shoulders. But as a Patriots fan, I feel we have the personnel to be like we have. I know Jack Jones isn't otherworldly, but he's good enough to give DeAndre Hopkins a hard time. They don't really have a tight end right now, so they're gonna have to dump down to like Marquise Brown and some of those smaller guys. I think the Patriots might be able to bottle them up, so I'm gonna pick the Pats on this one, boys.
I'm rolling with Jim on this one. I think the Cardinals are able to get it done. If they're able to shut down Andre Hopkins, Marquise Brown is waiting in the wings to get it done. So I'll take Arizona here. JL, where are you rolling?
I'm going Arizona as well.
You got triple Arizona. Coop, you're sitting alone on the New England side, but you're used to that, right? New England against the world.
That's right, dude. The underdogs, haven't had a parade in a couple of years now. Getting pretty scary over here. It's like I thought Bob Kraft was like, I'm just pissed we haven't won a playoff game in 2 years. I'm like, Bob, please settle down. The people in Detroit and Cleveland are going to show up here with pitchforks if you keep talking like that.
Hey, Cleveland's won a playoff game in that time frame.
Very cool.
So I don't know what pitchforks you're talking about with Browns fans. We've got our playoff win in the last 2 years, and the Patriots don't.
I didn't want to disrespect the powerhouse Browns franchise.
Thank you. I actually disrespect the hell out of them. The next question, following up on our who will win this game, we have who will cover the spread. The Pats are 1.5-point favorites. So I'm assuming for all the people that pick the Cardinals, for me, JL, and Jim as underdogs, we picked them to win. Safe to say you're picking them to cover the spread as well, right?
Because if I actually picked them to win by 1 point, I would be a genius if it was right. I think if they're going to win, it's 99% probable it's by more than 1 point. So I'm going to go with them covering.
One of you cowards got to try and thread that needle. I obviously got to pick I picked the Patriots. Like, there's no way. I guess I could hedge my bets, but no, I'm going to pick the Patriots as well. But yeah, somebody thread the needle. You won't.
Well, I don't think we can, right? Because the Patriots are the favorite.
Oh, it's on my side, so I would have to thread the needle.
No, you would have to thread the needle.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Coward.
I'm choosing the coward side.
Yeah, we're all going to roll with the same on that one. Then the last one for
thank God you said that, Simon, because for a second there I was like, is my math wrong? Like, am I thinking about this all wrong? Like, do I not understand spreads? And I just started unraveling, kept going down that rabbit hole of like, what do I know?
We've let you say it the wrong way for 3 months now.
Just let JL get it wrong over and over and over again. The over-under in this game is 43.5. Jim, are we hitting the over or the under on this game?
This is a real tough one because we've had so many unders this year. And I really do think Arizona is going to blitz a lot. And you guys mentioned earlier the lack of depth at running back. Jacoby Myers, the hot read, out. He's a huge hot read for them. I don't know that and Isaiah Wynn out again, the tackle. So I think that blitz gets home more than it should. So I think New England's going to struggle to score points. I think this game goes under. Arizona wins, but it's going to go under.
I'm going under. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Coop.
I'm going under as well. And not only what Jim said there about the Cardinals, but what the Patriots have been doing lately, which is like they've gone back to their bend, don't break mentality, right? So you watch the game against the Bills. That's why James Cook is able to catch 6 passes all within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, all between the tackles, between the tackle boxes, like right over the middle. They're basically saying, okay, let's not get beat deep. And if we lose death by 1,000 cuts over the middle, that'll be fine. I think that kind of setup is conducive to a low-scoring game. And I think we could see a game from Marquise Brown. Like if you remember the Rams game in Arizona, he got like 17 targets because the Rams were doing that. They were like daring them to throw it deep and they wouldn't do it. So they just dumped it down over and over and over the middle, Greg Dortch and Tyler Higbee and all these guys. I think that's what the Patriots do to the Cardinals. And you're going to see a ton of dump downs, short passes. Should be a good Hollywood Brown game for fantasy, I think, in my opinion.
I agree. John Luke, you going under or over?
I want to take the under here because the Patriots have just been like containing these offenses, and it's been super frustrating. Their totals all season have been very low on the lower 40 side, some cases high 30s. I'm going to take the over though. I'm gonna go on the opposite side of this narrative, and I'm gonna take. I think Jim's reasoning is spot on, and I'm gonna just take the other side of the outcome here, which is that the team starts to break down, and we just get these kind of big break off plays that aren't really designed as just sort of like screen plays or the short range ones that that take it to the house. And I think that on both sides we're gonna see that.
Okay, if anyone can mastermind those plays, it's Kyler Murray, right? Like that's
Kyler Murray, yeah. It's that offense, yeah.
It's the COD experience. It helps you see the field differently whenever you got that COD vision.
Jail, I also would have accepted. I'm going to take the over because that's way more fun. that would have also been an acceptable answer.
Way more efficient answer there.
It is way more fun to be over.
Fully expecting that to be what you did, Jail, for you to just build the entire argument for the under and then say, but the over is more fun.
It is more fun. It is more fun.
The over is more fun, and I'm taking the under. The reasons.
I think Jim's reasoning here and his prediction is probably much more rooted in logic. It makes way more sense. I'm just rooting for chaos.
We love a trip down Chaos Street, though. So I don't blame you, Joe. We got 1 over, 3 unders for that one. Brandon in the chat said, we'll be on the edge of my seat tonight. Win and get in. Currently up by 30. I have Hollywood Brown. An opponent has Ramondre and Nick Folk.
Ooh.
So it's not a shoo-in, but I like your odds. I like your odds, Brandon. I like your odds. Man, those are the best, aren't they? Like Monday Night Football, make the playoffs. It all comes down to this last matchup.
Monday Night
Players
sweat,
on
baby.
both sides. Woo! Man, that's exciting. That's what we live for in fantasy football. Our next one, we're going to get out of the total game ones. The next question is, who is going to lead the Patriots in receptions? Coop, you're the Pats fan here. Let's start with you. Who do you think is going to lead the Patriots in receptions tonight?
So I'm going to go, a lot of people would think wide receiver here, and that's because it usually is wide receiver. But I'm actually going to take Hunter Henry, the hen dog. Last 2 games, he's gotten 5 targets in each game, even against Matt Milano, who is a very tough matchup for tight ends. Last week with the Bills, you got no Jacoby Myers, so he lives in that kind of short to intermediate A-dot range. And the Cardinals this year are one of the stone worst teams versus the tight end. You talk about a team like the Saints, they haven't let a single tight end get 50 yards on them. That includes like George Kittle. They're a very good team versus tight end. They have the personnel. They have Tomorrow Davis. They have Marcus May. This Cardinals team, I don't know what's going on with Isaiah Simmons, but he has been terrible at covering the tight end. And they let Tyler Higbee get 50 yards against them twice, right? So I think Hunter Henry is a pretty safe pick in this category.
Hunter Henry for Coop. I'm going to get a little cute here, I think. I'm going to take a shot on a player that isn't a wide receiver or a tight end. And I'm going to say that Ramondre Stevenson has the most receptions on the Patriots tonight. He's been getting more involved with Damian Harris out in this game. No Jacoby Myers either. They may rely on Ramondre for a lot of that short yardage stuff. And I think he's going to eat in the receiving game tonight. So I'll take I like your Hunter Henry call, Coop. That would have been my next pick, but I'm going to roll Ramondre. Jim, where are you rolling here? Player with the most receptions.
So, Simon, I'm completely with you. Ramondre Stevenson has seen at least 7 targets in 5 of his last 6 games, and his lowest target total in his last 8 games was 5. In terms of receptions, he has at least 6 receptions in his last 3 games. It's almost like, let's go one step further. At least 6 receptions in 5 of his last 6 games. So with the blitz I expect to be sent, he's going to be the hot read on that. And so he should catch 7 balls in this game. And I think that paces everybody.
I'm with you. We got 2 Ramondres, 1 Hunter Henry. Jail, where are you going here? Maybe one of the receivers?
No, I'm going Ramondre Stevenson.
Wow.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to that, completely agree with you guys, your points. The only thing I'll add is 19.1% target share on the season, which is tied for the most on this team. In the last 3 games, 25.5%, which is the highest. So I'm completely with you. Opportunity leads to receptions.
Can I go Red Dead Redemption real quick on you guys? Throw a little side quest out there.
Yeah.
Real quick. Which wide receiver do you guys think leads the Patriots? So take just out of the wideouts, no Jacoby Myers. Which wide receiver, if you had to pick one of the wideouts? None of us did. None of us picked. Jacoby Myers isn't playing.
Right.
So who out of the remaining guys, who do you guys think leads them? With
Devontae
like
Parker.
3 receptions or whatever it's going to be.
Aguilar is
so?
probably, I think, this is the next highest from wide receivers in terms of target share, 14.9% over the last 3 games. Could be him or Devontae Parker. It's just going to be, I think it's a toss up.
So with Myers out, I have to assume Kendrick Bourne assumes some of that slot duty. And again, pressure rates, which we're going to see blitz. Isaiah win the tackle, I keep repeating, is out. So I think whoever's in the middle of the field. I mean, Coop, I liked your Hunter Henry call because the middle of the field we're going to have to live. And so I think Kendrick Bourne sees a sneaky snap share in this game, and I think he takes on a lot of that. I think he catches 5 passes.
I like
that pick. Kendrick
Yeah,
Bourne.
I'm gonna go with Devontae Parker. The narrative for Kendrick Bourne is there, but Devontae Parker, to me, he's going to play a full snap share out there at split end. So I'm just leaning into snaps. Boring.
Let's roll into that prop. Devontae Parker's line is set at 39.5 receiving yards for today's game. Jim, do you think over or under on this 39.5 yard receiving prop for Devontae Parker?
You know, it is interesting because Parker will see deep shots. He's a very good contested catch player. He's gone over that number in 3 of his last 6 games, 4 times all season. Play action shots is where that happens. And that could be very beneficial with Ramondre Stevenson running a lot. So I think there is a good probability of a play action shot. So I'm going to say he does go hit one over that total.
Jim taking the over on that. Coop, you said Devontae Parker to lead the wide receivers in receptions. Do you think he's going to get over 39.5?
Yeah, I like it. I'm taking the over just because when you look at the games where, he's got a couple duds where he had 0 catches or 2 catches. But when you look at those games, he wasn't really playing a good number of snaps. He's playing like 40 snaps. He got hurt in the game against the Jets. So he played literally 1 snap, the first play of the game. When you look at the games where he does play 80, 90% of the snaps, he's getting 60, 64 or 68, 80 yards. I think this week with no Jacoby Myers, it's going to be one of those games where he plays 80, 90% of the snaps. If he plays that many snaps and doesn't crack 40 yards, then the rest of my bets don't even matter because the Patriots surely aren't winning, right? And, he's not going to lead the wide receivers. So I got to take the over on that one.
John Luke, we got double overs so far. You taking the over on this as well?
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. With Jacoby Myers out, I think Devontae Parker fills in. I think that it makes more sense that he, if I'm betting here that the over is going to hit on the total for the game, Devontae Parker is probably going to be a part of that equation.
Man, we're in trouble. Usually when everyone on the show agrees, that's when we're in trouble. And I'm taking the over on this one as well. I think this is our first full agreement here, but you guys laid out the narrative, laid out the game script, and it makes sense for Devontae Parker. It's hard to imagine him getting less than 40 yards, but I always get nervous whenever all of us take the same side of a bet because the people over there in Vegas, they're pretty smart when they set these lines. They know what they're doing. What about Kyler Murray? 238.5 passing yards. Jim, do you think Kyler Murray is going to hit that mark, hit that threshold?
This one's tough because Bill Belichick, my guess is here's his game plan. He's going to bracket both top receivers. Even if we see Marquise Brown in the slot, I think he brackets Hopkins. I think he brackets Brown. And I think the fallout of that is a lot of Greg Dortch, a lot of Kyler Murray running, a lot of screen passes to Connor. I don't think he gets there. I think they have limited or moderate success bracketing the receivers. So I'm going to say less.
We got less from Jim on that one. Coop, you agree?
Fully agree. Like, it's that bend don't break mentality. And if you go back and think about like the Bears versus Patriots game, what ended up happening is what Jim kind of alluded to there, which is Justin Fields had kind of free reign to run whenever he felt like it. And I think the Patriots are okay with that. I think they're like, in their mind, they're like, let the quarterback run. Handful of times that happens, bad things happen, right? You know what I mean? Quarterback, at the very least, he has to go back to the huddle tired for the next play. You know what I mean? Or Kyler Murray probably doesn't slide as much as he should, right? It's like turnovers could happen when you're running around with the ball out there. So I think they're okay with that. I think they want chaos like that rather than letting up the deep ball. So I'm going to side with the under for passing yards for Kyler, though I think he can still have a good game for fantasy.
John Luke, where you rolling here? We got 2 unders.
Yeah, 238. It seems high. He has not been really in terms of pass yardage. He hasn't really been hitting that. In the last 5 games that he's played, he would have only hit that one game, and that was against Minnesota, who was a pretty light secondary there. So I'll take the under as well.
We're gonna have another one where we all agree. In jail, you're right. I was looking at that same thing. It's not just the last 5 games. It goes back a little bit further. You had 7. There's just one more in there that he does it. And there's some defenses in here that it seems like maybe he should have been able to do this against. But I'll take the under here. I'm not taking the Patriots D as the team that Kyler gets it figured out against in the passing game. We got quadruple under again on this one. All agree in here. We have quadruple over on Devontae Parker, quadruple under on this one. The next one, I'm going to get away for some player props here. A little bit more down narrative street, and I see Tommy in the chat said Matt gets benched in the 3rd quarter for Zappe hour. This next question is, will we see Bailey Zappe in this game? Is Bailey Zappe going to come in to this game? Wow. Jim, I'll throw it to you first. You think the Cards are going to win? Do we see Zappe hour in tonight's game?
I don't think so. I think that Bill Belichick realizes the limitation in Zappe's game, and the more film there's film out on him already. So I think that party doesn't go real long. No, I think Mac Jones stays in.
Dude, the film thing is, Jim, I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's such an underrated part of this game. Dude. The sophomore slump for quarterbacks is real, where like you come out, you got this bag of tricks, right? The Colin Kaepernick and the Cam Newton, and the first year you come out and it's like, whoa, what is this? Like, we're not ready for this. And then once you get the film and you not only do you know like the tricks and stuff, but you can start picking up on tells, right? Like certain guys, they don't realize it, but when it's a pass play, maybe their left foot's a little too far back, right? Maybe, it's like you get a couple of those, it's over, right? So I feel you on that. You can't really trick people at this stage. Not to mention Belichick is also, he's so stubborn. He's so stubborn that it's going to take a lot. It's going to take an injury for him to come out and admit he was wrong in the middle of a game. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with Mac Jones.
Taking the no. JL, you think we're going to see the Zapster?
I think it's unlikely bar injury, which of course is not what we're predicting here. So I will say no.
Man, I'm so tempted to say yes, but I think you guys are right. I would love to see some Zappe in this game. It's fun whenever he's come in, but Mac Jones hasn't been bad. He's had some great performances recently. They're going to keep rolling with Mac Jones. I'm going to say no on this one as well. Man, but that was fun. The Zappe experiment was fun whenever it happened. I was not mad about that. Let's roll with a Ramondre Stevenson prop now. We've talked about him potentially being the focal point of this Patriots offense tonight. His rushing yards line is set at 77.5 rushing yards, so pretty high up there. Dale, we'll start with you on this one. Over or under on Ramondre Stevenson's 77.5 rushing yards?
77.5 seems pretty high. Arizona, I don't know how they're doing against the run. I'll take the under. I'll take the under on 77.5. That's a little bit too rich for me.
JL taking the under. What do you think, Jim? Are you taking the under with JL on Ramondre Stevenson, or do you like the over in this one?
I think he gets done as a receiver, and I think he goes under the rushing yards. His total yardage for the game is good, but not that. And guys, I have an appointment I got to get to in like a minute, so I might have to jump out.
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Jim, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to come on with us this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friend.
Have a great day. Thanks for having me, guys. Good luck.
Good man,
Talk to you
Jim.
later, Jim.
Thanks.
Jim's the boss.
Man.
All right, so that'll be our last one then, and I will pick the over because Ramondre Stevenson is awesome. Super high end RB1.
Coop taking the over. Jim took the under. JL, you took the under as well, right?
Yep.
And I am also going to take the under, leaving Coop
Ooh.
alone on that island over there. So we got some predictions going into tonight's game. We'll see how these play out tonight. Gives a little something to track, a little something to cheer for. Coming up, we are going to break down all of these Week 14 games, talk about what happened and what that means going forward for fantasy as we enter the fantasy football playoffs. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Better Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo. He's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting to bring up.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at like Eton Thomas. Like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know
again,
it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right.
Yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful? You know,
it's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Hey, welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We had a whole slew of Week 14 games, some good ones, some bad ones, and a lot more good ones. It was a lot of fun football this weekend. I wanted to kick us off talking about this Bills-Jets game. The Bills had what's on your back whenever there's something on your back and you're trying to get it off? What's the expression?
Monkey.
They had a monkey on their back, but they got it off here by beating the Jets.
They beat it off.
Yes, they beat the monkey off their back by beating the Jets this weekend. Coop, that is in fact an accurate statement right there. But they got it done. They tried to kill Mike White, but they couldn't quite do it. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, but Mike White's a stud. Coop, you think we're going to see the problem with him? People start getting some tape on him, and he goes back to irrelevancy.
So it's really hard to say. Like, the thing is, I'll tell you what, with Mike White, it's going to be harder than it is with like gimmick quarterbacks. And by that, I mean like ones that rely heavily on rushing. It's easier to pick up what those plays look like and how to stop them than it is somebody who's just a pure pocket passer. And, if his mechanics are sound, then he's not going to have those tells, right? But like, there was a famous instance of this happening. It was in tennis. And there was this guy, Andre Agassi. Everyone knows Andre Agassi. And I forget the guy he was playing against. But like, these guys were rivals. And then all of a sudden, Agassi just started beating the guy every single time. And years later, after they both retired, Agassi finally told the guy that when he would serve, no joke, he would put his tongue, he would always have his tongue out. But when he was serving to like the left side, he would have his tongue on the left side like this. So he would stand there with the like ready to serve and be like, okay. And then like when he would serve to the other side, he would have his tongue just out in front, like in the middle. And Agassi picked up on that, and that's how he kept beating him. And then finally down the road, they were like a bar. And he was like, by the way, like you would tell where you were telling me where you were serving with your tongue. Like little things like that like in the NFL, that absolutely happens. Kind of crazy.
That is wild.
It reminds me, did you guys ever play the card game where like you have a partner that you sit across from? You take turns drawing cards and then discarding a card. And the goal is when you get 4 of the same number, you try to get your partner to call out that you guys have won. But your partner has to call it out for you. But if the other team catches you guys giving the signal, then they can call it out and they win ahead of you. So you're trying, like, it reminds me of that. You're trying to come up with like a subtle signal to give your partner, but Agassi got figured out. That's wild. Can you imagine how mad you would be years later if you found out it was your freaking tongue giving you away?
Right. Well, then of course he didn't tell him until later. So apparently, Agassi was the one that picked up on it, and the other guy's name was Boris Becker. Was his name? So
Boris Becker.
Great name. Yeah,
Boris Becker with the tongue towel.
Classic.
With the tongue towel, man. Also, what kind of vision do you have to be able to see which direction his tongue is pointing from the opposite side of a tennis court? Like that's very far away.
I guess you'd have to have the vision of a professional tennis player.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That
sounds pretty. Those guys probably have pretty good vision, I imagine.
So on that note, everyone, make sure in the next game you're looking at Mike White's tongue to see if he gives any tells on where he's going to throw the ball.
Imagine he's just like he's got to do like a button hook with his tongue. He's like
he does the whole round with his tongue out.
Mike White gets up to the line and he's like wiggling his tongue around like JL is right now, and the linebacker turns. He's like, "It's a flea flicker, guys."
Yo, maybe that's what Belichick is doing. What if he's calling plays with his tongue on the side?
I wouldn't be surprised if I would be surprised if that's what Steve Belichick's been
That's
doing.
what I meant. Sorry, I meant Steve Belichick.
But Steve Belichick, he's always doing something weird.
His tongue.
He's calling plays. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, no question.
Spider 2X. What's the banana one that I always say wrong?
Spider 2Y banana. I think that's
Spider 2Y banana. That's it. And Tommy wants to know, what would the tongue motion be for a flea flicker? What you got, Coop?
It would be a.
Okay, pretty good. But I knew exactly what you were doing right there. Even if you wouldn't have told me that was a flea flicker, I would have.
No, what the game should be that you can't tell us what the play is, and we have to try and figure out what the play is. So, Jail, do one, and we'll try and guess what play.
QB sneak.
QB draw.
Damn it.
Was it
Hail Mary, baby.
Hail
Mary. Bottom to top. That's a 9 route right there.
I saw that. I was like, you almost touched your nose on the way back. So I knew it was a deep. I knew it was a deep ball. What I think. Well, that was pretty stupid.
That was
fun.
Glad we did that.
Yeah. Is anyone still watching?
As we do plays with our tongue for everyone to guess. That's a pretty good one. Tommy said, "I am so sorry I asked." Yeah, this is on you, Tommy.
That makes for good radio. There's people just listening, and we're just like, what was that?
What I do with my tongue. What I do with my tongue, JL. Yeah, clip that. That's good out of context too. We're getting some good ones out of game recaps. The Bills did win this game 20-12. Josh Allen, not his best game from a statistical standpoint, but he got it done for fantasy with a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. Only had 147 passing yards, though. Coop, are you at all worried about Josh Allen? It's felt like he hasn't quite looked like he did at the beginning of the season. Do you think this injury is lingering around?
You know what? It's the thing is, we saw this last year to a certain degree, and like the Bills are kind of easing into like the Bills. When you see this from really good franchises, when they realize they're really good, like the Patriots would do it to a certain degree, the Packers would do it. Where I think the Bills realize that they're going to win these games. They know they're going to win them, and they're trying to, not protect players, but not take too many chances. I mean, so early in the season last year, Josh Allen be running all over the place, hurdling, jumping, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And yes, he did do another hurdle yesterday that was pretty stupid. But down the stretch, you saw a lot. They leaned into Devin Singletary in games where they were winning. He scored like 6 touchdowns over the last 4 games. I think you might be seeing that here, where they're basically like, okay, let's not overdo it here. Let's just win this game. We're 9-3. We're, the odds of us making the playoffs now are 90-something%. Like, let's just kind of cruise. So I don't know. I think you might be seeing a little less Josh Allen taking risks moving forward, especially because he's already hurt.
Yeah. And you would think, like you said, Coop, that maybe this means a little bit more in the rushing game, but the running backs here had a disappointing game yesterday. 8 carries for Devin Singletary, 39 yards, 4 carries for James Cook for only 6 yards. I guess they got a little bit involved in the receiving game, each with 1 reception. James Cook, 1 reception for 9 yards. Singletary, 1 reception for 4 yards. But you were pretty disappointed with either of those guys for fantasy yesterday. Is there better games ahead for these running backs?
The Bills, the Jets, I mean, that's what you do in your division, right? You build your team to beat the team that's the best in the division, right? So they match up well. Sauce Gardner on Diggs, the 4-3 defense is usually pretty decent versus the run. So I'm not surprised that it shook out the way it did. But I don't know, Jay, are you worried about these guys moving forward, or are you still confidently starting the guys you were starting before?
This is why we're drafting Devin Singletary where we were, right? Like, he's this type of offense, which is very pass heavy, is subject to games like this where they're not going to lean on the run from the running backs. Josh Allen led this team from the running back perspective, from the rushing perspective, right? He had more carries and yards and a touchdown than the other running backs. So this is what you have to expect from the Bills team. I do expect better games ahead for Singletary, for James Cook, but this is why you didn't draft Devin Singletary as an RB1.
Before we talk about the running backs on the Jet side of the ball, we had some questions coming here that I wanted to make sure we answered. Spooky Season want to know, would you guys rather roster Deshaun Watson or Brock Purdy for the rest of this season? So Deshaun Watson has not looked hot in his first 2 starts. JL, we'll throw to you first. Brock Purdy did look pretty hot yesterday in his first start. Are you rolling Brock Purdy or Deshaun Watson rest of the season?
I would roll Deshaun Watson. I would. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I get dragged for that later on in hindsight, but it just feels like talent-wise, these guys aren't in the same conversation, and I expect things to get fleshed out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm there with you. You'll never get dragged, Joe. You would never get dragged for that take. Can you believe this guy picked Deshaun Watson over Brock Purdy? Like, that's the right take.
I don't know, man. Brock Purdy's got big balls.
Nah, dude. Purdy, he's fine. But the thing is, it's like at that level for quarterbacks, it's Brock Purdy threw 2 touchdown passes. Deshaun Watson threw 1. If Watson threw 2 touchdown passes, he would have scored more points than Purdy. And there's going to be plenty of games where that does happen. The thing I liked out of Deshaun Watson is he ran the ball 6 times. Like, that is what makes some of these guys so much more appealing than the other guys. Is you get 5 to 10 carries, gives you such a great floor. That's why we like Jalen Hurts, right? So give me Deshaun Watson just for that alone.
Yeah, it's going to be Deshaun Watson. But Purdy, do you think he's startable for fantasy? Like, if you're looking for a fill-in quarterback, would you plug Purdy in your fantasy playoffs?
Yeah,
I would. Got the Seahawks coming up on Thursday.
Not so bad.
Got the Commanders, but championship week. Brock Purdy versus the Raiders. That could be. I mean, yeah, dude. Yeah. Can you imagine starting Brock Purdy in fantasy championship week on January 1st? Start your year that way. You could ruin your whole year doing that.
You ruin your whole year.
Get the biggest balls championship you've ever had. If you throw Brock Big Balls Purdy out there into your lineup championship week and get that title.
Set the tone for the whole year. That's how I felt the year I started Ryan Fitzpatrick in championship week. I needed him to go off, and he crushed. I think he threw like 4 touchdown passes. I was like, yeah, I'm a genius.
Genius.
It also helps that like when Ryan Fitzpatrick would win those games, he would just be ridiculous in the press conference, and you can enjoy that much more.
Absolutely.
Right.
He walks out with the shades on, the chains on, like just ready to go. Frank the Tank had another question for us. Wants our opinion on if he's got the W. He says, I'm up by 6 going into tonight. I have Kyler and my opponent has Hollywood. I've already clinched, but if I win, I knock out last year's champion. Going to be a sweat. JL, you think Frank the Tank's got it? Up 6. They have Kyler going against Hollywood.
Up 6, Kyler going against Hollywood. Yeah, I think you got it.
Yeah, I think you got it as well. What about you, Coop?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm big on Hollywood this week, but I'll still take the quarterback in the points there. I mean, it's hard for Hollywood to have a good game without Kyler having a good game. So
yeah,
it could be good. And I just pulled up the game. It was 2019. And I remember I was at a Christmas party at my wife's house. And Ryan Fitzpatrick threw for 419 yards and 4 touchdowns. Week 16, back when there was a 17-game season. And I won my championship. And I was like, walking around telling everybody at the party, I'm like, yeah, I'm a fantasy analyst, so pretty easy pick.
Yeah.
Just like without telling them that I just like, backdoored my way to the championship and just started like whoever. I'm like, yeah, saw it coming from a mile away.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as I always say. We got Cooter Doodle in the chat. GM boys, what's up, Cooter?
What up,
Welcome
Cooter?
in.
Morning.
GM, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that like a bowel move? It's like a BM, but for girls, right? You put out a definitions list on Twitter a couple months ago, Cooter Doodle. I'm pretty sure that means it's a BM, but for girls, if I'm not mistaken.
So what is she trying to communicate to us here then?
Doing her morning duty. I think so is what's going on right there. Just letting us know what's happening.
I always text you
people.
whenever girl moving. Yeah, I mean, every time I have a BM, I text Diamond.
So I thought she was being nice, saying good morning, but she's actually coming in kind of threatening, it seems.
Girl movement.
Girl movement, boys. She's trying to shut us down, dude. Okay.
Hey, I'm on your side. Shut us down. On the Jets side of the ball, there were questions about Zonovan Knight with Michael Carter coming back. But Zonovan Knight looks like the lead back here. 17 carries to Michael Carter's 5, 71 yards on the ground, a rushing touchdown. Yeah, I'm convinced. Zonovan Knight, you convinced me. It looks like this is Zonovan Knight's backfield.
Donovan Peoples Night.
Zonovan's People's Nights.
Zonovan People's Night Court. Though
ZPJ.
technically, Michael Carter did play 37 snaps. Zonovan Knight played 35. So technically it was split 50% of the snaps for Michael Carter, 47% for Zonovan Knight. But I mean, eye test, right? Eye test says bam, bam, Knight.
Bam, bam.
Scoreboard says bam, bam, Knight.
Scoreboard's the best trash talk. There's no better trash talk all time than Scoreboard. There's no answer. No. There's no answer to Scoreboard.
Speaks
if someone's talking trash to you, you just go Scoreboard. Right.
It's like a mic drop. Is
I like using it when I'm losing. Like you do something really awesome. Like Scoreboard. Like I know I'm losing. That's still awesome.
You do that in basketball when they look up. They're like, "Wait, we're winning." That's when you steal the ball.
90 to 10.
Boom.
And
you use it
Better
before
Boss
they
in
can
the
use it on you.
chat. Better Boss in the chat said Jacoby Brissett looks like the QB in short yardage, at least yesterday. So a small downside for Watson. Maybe.
So they did bring. Yeah, I guess. A couple plays. That's so annoying. So what? Jacoby Brissett?
They're not going to pay him all that money for that. Yeah.
The new Taysom Hill.
They brought him in.
That would be
4th
interesting.
and 1.
Which is not uncommon, right? Sometimes they bring in QBs for those 3rd and 4th down plays.
They did it some with Mariota in Las Vegas, right? Like Mariota would come in for some of these like short yardage plays as well. They do it with Taysom Hill. Jacoby Brissett, it seems like an odd player to do that with, but I'm for it. I like Jacoby Brissett. If he can keep getting
Another
some
team
snaps,
did that
getting some play.
recently. I'm trying to remember who it was. Like last week, a team did that. Brought in their backup for the 4th down.
Well, the Texans were just playing musical quarterback for a lot of the game this week. They were just like, Kyle, you take these snaps. Driscoll, you're up.
So
I was not ready to get Driscolled this weekend.
The crazy thing about Driscoll is that they wanted to convert him to a tight end. It didn't really work out, so he never played tight end. But on some of the fantasy sites, he's tight end eligible. So if he gets the start, now we get some another Taysom Hill situation. Taysom Hill Part 2, Jeff Driscoll, dump truck boy, coming in and being a starting tight end in fantasy. Would you start him if he was a starting quarterback for the Texans next week? Would you start him at tight end?
No,
I might, dude. That makes my life. Doesn't matter. He's a quarterback. You can start a tight end.
Does matter if he gets negative points. Kansas City. That's fine.
Won't. Yeah, you get him in there, dude. It just, as a tight end analyst, it makes my life hard. I don't want these weird situations. Go away. I think Simon might be frozen, or otherwise he's doing a very cool robot.
Very strange side eye.
Do the rest soon. So, why don't you take us into another game, JL?
All right, let's get into another game here. Coop, let's talk about the Detroit Lions and New York Jets game, because that game was pretty fun. Nope, that was last. I'm looking at next week. Great,
very
fantastic.
Cool. Simon, come back.
Come back. We can't do it.
But they played.
It was Minnesota versus Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and that was a crazy game, man. I mean, talk about a statement game for Dan Campbell and the Lions. This is a premier win. Like, first you get the winning culture, but you lose all your games, which is what was happening last year. Then you drop the culture and you start winning, right? Which is what's been happening recently. Then you start getting the statement wins. You start building that resume as a real team. I don't know. What do you think, JL? The Lions a real team
turns into just winning. It's kind of wild.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
They look good. The Detroit Lions all the season have impressed me. And what they're doing with the limited talent they have, it's impressive. You have to give them that. They beat the Vikings here handily. And so I think this is all power to them. All kudos to them. This is a fun game to watch. I think the Lions still have a lot of holes in this team. They're still going to struggle. They're in the playoff hunt, but I'm not expecting much from them the rest of this year. But going into next season, man, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
A good spot.
Great spot. Oh, welcome back.
Yeah, that team we're talking about, great.
Yeah.
Just absolutely great spot.
You want to guess which team it is?
Hey, Bills is what I'm guessing. We got our resident Bills fan, our friend Dustin, hopping up here with us. What's up, Dustin?
Oh, just relax on a nice Monday morning. AFC East, soon to be champs. Number 1 seed in the AFC right now. 2 games up on the Dolphins that we're going to play on Saturday and demolish. Feeling good today.
Here comes
Tim. Good morning. It's a good day to be a Bills fan.
It's always a good day to be a Bills fan. I'm super excited. We didn't look great against the Jets, but we beat them. That's all that matters. A win's a win.
A W's a W. Yeah, it's always great to be a Bills fan. Was it great to be a Bills fan in week 3?
Oh,
yeah, always.
Said always.
But I know you're looking forward to that rematch against the Dolphins this week, and you've put it on your calendar since day 1.
It's circled.
It's circled, ready to go. Jay said Dustin just needs a Bloody Mary and he'd be set.
That is very true. Of course, I don't drink, but yeah, I would like a nice drink. I'm headed home soon. I'm not feeling the greatest today. I was sick all weekend, but figured I'd call in and talk about my Bills and talk some trash on those Dolphins.
I love talking trash on the Dolphins, especially to Troy King and Tim Wright and the boys. Yeah,
it's Tim and Alfredo are my 2 targets this week. They'll be getting lots of trash talk on Twitter.
They get defensive, those fans.
They do. I mean, they have nothing to defend themselves. They looked like trash last night. So I'm not sure what they're defending right now.
Tyreek had to do it all on his own, man. He had to do it all on his own. Plays that weren't even drawn up for him.
I mean, let's talk about that play. If it wasn't for that play, the Dolphins get absolutely blown out. And the other Tyreek score, the defender falls down. If not for 2 fluke plays, the Dolphins barely scored points last night.
how it goes, man.
Hey, just like a W is a W, an L is an L. It doesn't matter how bad you lose. It's still just one loss on that loss sheet, right? It was for sure an awful game for the Dolphins.
Patriots lost the Super Bowl because some doofus pinned a ball to his head. You know what I mean? Like that's how that works. So yeah, you can't really discount those plays.
Like my dynasty league that I'm tanking in, that I started Amari Rodgers and Richie James this week and somehow won. I don't know how that happened.
When I heard touchdown Amari Rodgers, I was like, "Excuse me!" Like my neck like shot up at the TV. I was like,
I was
what?
so hyped.
Like, no, he didn't.
I was like,
What
"Yeah,
team?
Amari Rodgers."
Yeah, I have Evan Ingram and Miles Sanders on that team, and thought I was tanking and started Amari Rodgers and Richie James, and both of them got touchdowns this week. So. Oops.
And then you got your 30-plus point game from Evan Ingram, pulled that W out.
But that's what we love about football, right? It's crazy things every week. You never know what's going to happen. The guys you expect to blow up don't. Guys you have no clue what's going to happen scored multiple touchdowns. It's a crazy week. That's why we love the game.
Dustin, let's plan on maybe having you back on maybe on Friday to talk some trash face to face with Tim before this game. I want to see some face to face Bills Dolphins trash talk ahead of time. But I hope you start feeling better, my friend. And thanks so much for coming up and giving us a little bit of your Bills takes this morning.
All right, thanks guys. Have a good one.
Talk to you later, Dustin.
Cheers, brother. And that goes for anybody, man. We're just hanging out here. So if you want to call in, talk about your favorite team, talk a little trash, pop in, give us a buzz. It's right in the app. You just hit that call button and join us, man. We'll throw you on. We don't care.
We were talking about Mr. Driscoll. Did you guys already talk about this Texans Cowboys game whenever I went missing for a moment there?
Nope.
We did not.
Well, we talked about Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll coming in and playing a little bit for the Houston Texans. But the Cowboys, they got away with one this weekend. Talk about a W is a W. It doesn't matter how you got there. They snuck away with that win. That must feel so bad for the Houston Texans. And I don't know, man. That Chris Moore play on the 1 yard line, I think he was in. The angle they kept showing where they kept saying good call by the refs was at an angle. They showed his knee down, but the ball was in the air in his arm extended at that point. And whenever his arm came down, it was a solid 1.5 feet into the end zone. Know what I mean? So like that moment that they're showing at that weird angle in the replay over and over again, I don't know, man. 3rd and 1 on the goal line. I think Chris Moore might have been in right there, but it doesn't matter.
That's why they don't we could easily take the technology from the World Cup and just put like sensors in the balls and just have it automatic. But then Goodell wouldn't be able to control the league from his iron throne. Call in plays like that.
When they talk about new code word for Goodell
just calling it in. He's like, that's not a touchdown. Click.
Yeah. Oh, we got word from New York. Not a touchdown.
Word from New York. Definitely not a touchdown. Yeah. We don't need sensors in the balls, dude, because then you can't control the outcomes.
What he actually did was he stole the button from Buffalo Wild Wings. The button that makes the games crazy. And Roger Goodell now has full control of the Buffalo Wild Wings button. Have you noticed those commercials are gone? It's because they don't have the button anymore. Goodell has the button. He called one in on this one. He said, we need some chaos here at the end of this game. And they made it happen.
He based on how the game started for the Texans, it's almost like he accidentally was hitting the button with his elbow, and it was just switching Jeff Driscoll in the game and out of the game. He was like, oh, he lifted up his soup. He's like, oh no, what happened? He was just accidentally pressing the crazy button.
Yeah, he laid down on top of the controller on accident.
Yeah, on the remote. Yeah, it's like when you sit on the remote, and he's like, oh damn, Jeff Driscoll's in. Whoops.
Jeff Driscoll. I'm sorry. Go ahead, JL.
Finish your thought because I'm going to answer a question.
I was going to say Jeff Driscoll only had 6 pass attempts, rushed the ball 7 times, but I felt like every time I looked up, Jeff Driscoll was in the game. I don't know why. I just felt like every time I looked at the screen, it was Driscoll, not Davis Mills in there.
Jeff Driscoll.
Davis Mills still seems like the lead
our
guy.
generation's Taysom Hill.
Our generation's Taysom Hill.
What is Taysom Hill?
He's last generation's Jeff Driscoll.
He's like some old-timey football player that stumbled into a time machine and ended up here somehow. That's basically what it looks like.
He does look like he should wear a leather helmet.
It's like just a normal football game, and every time he gets the ball, it's like high stepping around, dude. It's like not even real football. I'm like, what is going on? He's got like the hip pads that like stick out the top, right? The shirt's tucked into those, like that. It blows my mind, man.
Shout out to the time machine just to get Taysom Hill back to New Orleans.
Yeah. Scott Fish knows what I'm talking about. That's what I was like. The dump truck. That's Driscoll, baby. He brings
Scott Fish said Jess Driscoll, Taysom Hill too. He said that badonk though. Does he got a badonk?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. Ask
you
Linda.
Missing out.
Linda Lindellians has probably tweeted that badonk out 50 different times, and I'm sure she tweeted it
how I missed
at
it.
some point yesterday. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna Google Jeff Driscoll booty.
Yes, so he does have tight end eligibility on Yahoo. He also has it. I saw on
the top
and in his pants.
The top post is a Tumblr on Google. If you type in Jeff Driscoll booty, you get a Tumblr post where the caption is "A moment of silence for Jeff Driscoll's ass." It's a hilarious picture of his ass. Oh my god!
A moment of silence. Yeah, everyone.
A moment of silence for Jeff Driscoll's ass.
Dude,
damn, dude.
Yo, you're stuffing your
it?
pants. Yeah. Oh
That looks
my
Photoshop,
god,
right?
that doesn't look
He said,
real.
"Just stuff in your pants."
You bounce a quarter off that thing, somebody could lose an eye.
Maybe that should be a play. It's kind of like a flea flicker, but Jeff Driscoll hands it off. He just turns around and bends over, and then they throw the ball against his butt, and it shoots 80 yards downfield with just the pure momentum.
Which is more realistic than like 4 out of 5 Air Bud movies.
All of them except for the one with the monkey, the most valuable
hockey primate, the most valuable primate. Yeah, that one actually probably the most realistic, honestly. Dude, the original Air Bud is you're gonna pick basketball of all the options. That's like the most ridiculous one for a dog to play. How are we talking about Air Bud again for the second time today?
Something to
I think you did
Sasquatch about.
I think I did it.
What do you guys think of J.K. Dobbins going forward? How you guys feeling about Dobbins?
A+. He looked great out there, and he still obviously isn't fully healthy. You can keep playing that dude week in, week out. You think so, J.O.?
Yeah, I agree. We talked about it a little earlier in the show. Great schedule going forward. He's got Cleveland, then Atlanta, then Pittsburgh. They're giving him they don't seem to be as concerned. So they're giving him 15 carries in yesterday's game. I just expect that going forward, especially with Lamar, being on the line here with his health.
Lamar on the line.
He's crazy explosive, man. If he can get like you said, he didn't look fully healthy, but he's ready to play. I mean, that guy can bust off a 70, 80-yard touchdown at any moment. He's got the elusiveness. He has the speed when healthy. So fun player.
Let's talk a bit about that Ravens game now that we're talking J.K. Dobbins here. The Ravens, JL, it must be exhausting being a Ravens fan. Even when they win, they just do it every single week where these games are close. Like they just love playing close games. So they pulled this one out 16-14 in the absence of Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley, the primary quarterback here. But they got it done, JL. Are you nervous with the reports that Lamar Jackson may not play again until Christmas Eve? Are you nervous about the upcoming games for the Ravens with Tyler Huntley under center?
I am. We got Atlanta. We just said it, didn't it? Yeah, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and then Cincinnati in Week 18. Those are some tough matchups outside of Atlanta. Lamar Jackson, he is this team, right? Tyler Huntley was not able to do it. They passed, what was it? I have it here somewhere. They passed 17 times, 11 completions for a total of 104 yards this game. That's absurd for an entire team. That is so low. So absolutely I'm nervous. And we don't have this division secured. So it's very risky.
No. And I mean, to your point, they threw the ball 17 times and Tyler Huntley only threw 12 of those. Anthony Brown threw 5 of those passes. He had 12 pass attempts in this game for Tyler Huntley. 9 carries on the ground, added 31 yards. So you like to see that from fantasy. You would have wished you got a little bit more yardage, but I don't know. Coop, is Tyler Huntley startable next week against the Browns? They are weak against the run, so maybe that benefits him a bit.
That's my full answer.
Jail, do you have anything to add to Coop's answer?
Yeah, I would add.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add it.
There you have it.
I don't fucking know. That's what I'm
Dude,
gonna add right there.
for 88 yards passing. Sick.
Yeah, you're hoping for 80 yards on the ground, and then you're fine that you started Tyler Huntley, but you didn't get that done this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the other side,
it's like,
go ahead.
I just want to say this offense. It's like whenever J.K. Dobbins is playing, it's like college football where I look at the stats and I'm like, hey, you got this player who gets 8 yards every time you hand him the ball. Like how are you ever getting stopped? Right? Like just hand that guy the ball. If he's what's his career yards per carry? It's like over 6, isn't it? Like this guy, just keep giving him the ball, right? I see these college games where it's like a team loses by 2 scores, and then it's like, their running back averaged 14 yards a carry. Like, how is this happening? There's J.K. Dobbins every time, like 8 yards a carry, just give him the ball.
Keep doing it. It makes sense.
Albert mentioned here, we didn't mention why Tyler Huntley was out, but he was put into concussion protocol, and that's when Anthony Brown did come in. Anthony Brown did not do a ton there, but Huntley was injured during this game. Harbaugh seems pretty optimistic about it, but we'll have to wait and see the rest of this week.
And on the other side, Kenny Pickett was also injured in this game, and it was confusing because he left the game very early, was put into concussion protocol, but then was cleared to come back into the game, came back in for a series, and then taken back out, said he was ruled out for the rest of the game, and Mitch Trubisky played the rest. So a little bit confusing on Kenny Pickett there. We're going to have to wait for updates, but Trubisky came in and took over in relief for an injured Kenny Pickett and threw 3 interceptions, as Mitch Trubisky does. Sorry, Mitch. Milky Trubisky. It was a pretty milky game from him. 276 yards, not too bad, but 3 interceptions. You're not thrilled with that.
No,
not thrilled to say the least. Dude. I don't think Mitch Trubisky's not even in my top 32 quarterback rankings, and there are 32 teams. So, like, give me,
Brock Purdy or Mitch Trubisky?
Bailey Zappi. Oh my God, Brock Purdy. I'm talking about like backups that I would rank ahead. Like
Gardner Minshew or Mitch Trubisky?
Minshew, dude.
Minshew.
Minshew. Yeah, Minshew.
Minshew. He's got the milky. He doesn't need to be named milky. He just is milky.
He is so milky. 2%.
He's silky.
Cooter said Merk Trubisky. Merk Trubisky.
Coop, Wentz or Trubisky? Better Boss is asking.
Wentz. Anyone. I do. Trubisky.
Wentz. Yeah.
Stinks.
Trubisky.
Me
stinks.
or Trubisky?
Yeah.
At quarterback or in general?
Oh, like
quarterback, you in general, Milky Trubisky. I'm just kidding. It's gonna be you both ways.
That's
JL.
fair.
Smoked.
That's fair.
You got smoked.
I did.
Got him.
He's got that smile.
He does. I'll give him that.
I don't know why we mentioned Gardner Minshew, and it made me think of this. Have you guys seen the trailer for the new show on Hulu called Get Back in the Groove? And I think the reason it made me think of this, they're called Back in the Groove, is because I could see Gardner Minshew on it. It's like The Bachelorette, but they have 3 women all in their 40s, and they're staying at a hotel with like 25 dudes in their 20s. And they're trying to find love with someone like half their age in that house. It's these 3 older women getting back in the groove of dating, and then 20 plus dudes in their 20s living in a resort in the Dominican Republic while these women try to find love with all these young dudes. Gardner Minshew would so be on that show. Would he not?
Yeah. He used to be starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So they finally made that fake TV show from 30 Rock then, huh? MILF Island.
I forgot about MILF Island.
That's basically literally they're like, well, we can't call it MILF Island. What should we call it? Right? MILF Island. Tim Wright. Imagine Island. Tim Wright on the show. Tim Wright on MILF Island, bro.
It's the same exact thing as Gardner Minshew.
It kind of is
nearly the same.
Yeah, we gotta get Tim on that show. He would absolutely kill it over there.
I'm calling that show MILF Island from now on, dude. That's all it is. It's a great
MILF Island. Anything else on this Steelers Ravens game before we move on? Najee Harris got the touchdown, but pretty underwhelming in the rushing game. But you're still starting him, right?
Oh yeah, 12 carries, 33 yards, and the touchdown. It's about what you'd expect.
About what you'd expect. And let's move on to this Minnesota Vikings Detroit Lions game. The Detroit Lions now sitting at 6-7 under Dan Campbell with this win over the Vikings. They were favored going in. They covered 34-23 in this game. This Lions team kind of shaping up down the back half of the season, not looking so bad. Defense is still pretty abysmal, but they've got some pieces that are starting to show up, and this offense has been rolling. Do you guys think?
Shaping up down the back half like Jeff Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll. That's solid. That's good. Yeah. That was good.
And now all I can picture the image of his ass is burned into my retinas right now.
Why are his pants so transparent in the picture?
That's okay.
Why can I see his skin?
Finally, someone's talking about it. Yeah, it's a little too translucent there.
Is it sweat?
Like no, it's because you can only push spandex so far.
It's magic.
You can only push it
has
to
a limit.
Exactly. Like in order to get one that's not like loose and baggy on his thighs and on his calves, he has to wear that size. But that ass wants to get out, man. It does not want to be contained.
They're stretched to the point where they're practically fishnets, dude.
Ass is like, let me out, bro.
Let me at him.
Man. Better Boss in the chat said, good call. McKinnon versus Dobbins versus Homer yesterday, JL. Thanks. Dude, who was I texting in the middle of the game yesterday? Or it might have been Jay I talked to about the show yesterday. It's like, man, McKinnon call. That worked out. Glad we got a lot of McKinnon questions.
We did.
That was an amazing play by him, man. That pass by Mahomes that was such a Mahomes throw that like yeah.
What was it like? It's good. I hate those passes. That's exactly what I picture them saying every single time they do it.
Right. So
PJC in here saying, imagine a man with AJ Dillon's legs and Jeff Driscoll's ass. I'm imagining the perfect man.
The perfect man. Saquon Barkley.
We already have that. We had that man once. Yeah, his name was Maurice Jones-Drew.
Maria showed me a TikTok yesterday of someone clipped one of the game footage. Like, I forget I don't know which Chicago Bears player it was, but he just ran up to AJ Dillon's like, hey, 2-8. He's like, how you get your legs to look like that? And AJ Dillon's like, I eat vegetables. He's like, I never eat vegetables a day in my life. He's like, nah, I ain't doing that. He runs away.
He just scampers away, dude. He skates away.
Like, veggies.
Yo, I get that though. Sometimes like I'll look stuff up like how to be healthy, how to do all this. And I've just accepted the fact, like, I'll reach a level of healthy. I'm not like, they're like abs are made 90% in the kitchen. I'm like, well, then that's 90% of my abs that aren't getting made. Because I am not just like eating boiled chicken and cauliflower for every single meal for the rest of my life. I can't do it, man.
Can't do it. I will say, man,
I just watched Maurice Jones-Drew broadcasting flag football.
I bet that was electric.
I bet. Good morning, Pat. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah. So I will say, man, like if Goff is the real deal, and they seem to believe that, they like him. I mean, it's not outside the range of possibilities. There's been a lot of examples of quarterbacks who started their career late. The easiest one, of course, Steve Young basically did nothing till he was 30, right? But he was Steve Young, of course, and he didn't really get the opportunity behind Joe Montana. But there are examples, guys. Fran Tarkenton bounced around, and he was really good. So there's a possibility that Jared Goff is the real deal, and this team on offense, at least, already has everything. They have everything. I mean, they traded away their tight end, so they need that. But they have, Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell. They have Taylor
wide
Decker,
receiver Penei Sewell,
megastar, better than Foster Moreau at tight end.
Nothing gets me more hyped than a big man catch. Like truly, that's the peak of football.
The big man dance, dude. That's the best, dude. I would just picture BJ Raji doing. One time he scored and he like didn't know what to do, so he just like hopped in a circle like this, and it was one of my favorite celebrations. And then these wide receivers, if they can bring back DJ Chark, have him at split end, Jameson Williams at flanker, Amon-Ra at slot, that could be like one of, if not the best wide receiver groups in the league. So, and of course they have Swift, Jamal Williams. Like this team, pretty loaded up.
Jameson Williams looked all right yesterday. I know he didn't get a lot of work, but that was a beautiful touchdown that he had.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he in your rookie wide receiver rankings as far as all the rookie wide receivers?
Coming into the season, I had him ranked 1.
Is he still up there, or have some of the guys passed him?
No, I still have him 1.
Jameson Williams still sitting up there.
I couldn't move him because I had him at 1 coming in, or basically you can go check my tweets where I basically said, if a team, but I've seen Jeffrey Simmons tear his ACL right before the combine, go in the first round and be awesome. If a team believes in Jameson Williams and drafts him in the first round, then I'm going to believe in Jameson Williams because I believed he was the best wide receiver. The Lions traded up to get him. So at that point, I was in. And I couldn't move him down before seeing him play, right? Like at that, it's like I can't do it. So now that I've seen him, I still have him there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. He's not quite at 1 for me, but he's up there. He's in that conversation. Jameson Williams looks like he's going to be the real deal over there in Detroit. Not a great rushing game for Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift, but they got their work. Jamal Williams got more work this week, though. 16 carries for him, 6 carries for DeAndre Swift in this one. John Luke, I thought we saw the switch. I thought DeAndre Swift is back. He's healthy. He's the starter. He's the one who's going to be playing more snaps, getting more carries. Kind of switched back a little bit this week.
Yeah. I think part of this is the game that they're in where they got ahead. They didn't need to put DeAndre Swift in that situation. He's still healing up. So I'm not as worried. I think they're going to switch back and forth. I don't think we're going to get what we got last week necessarily, or get what we got before that, where they were really limiting DeAndre Swift. I think that's a good thing. Probably not for fantasy, but for the Lions, it's a smart move.
So, boys, I have an important Lions question I've been thinking about that I want to hear what you guys would do, how you guys feel about it. You ready?
I've never been more ready for anything in my entire life than this question.
And JL, are you equally ready, or
I'm ready.
Maybe a little less ready than that? He's very ready.
Let's go.
He seems very ready. So you have Jamal Williams and you have Jameson Williams. How would you abbreviate those names, like on the back of a jersey, to differentiate between those players?
I wouldn't.
With the number, I would just use the number to tell them apart.
Just no number. So you wouldn't go like, because a lot of times they go to like JA, right? But they both have the JA, and it goes all the way down JAM. So what would you do?
But they both have the J. So you could go Jame and Jama, but I don't think you're putting Jama on the back of a jersey.
Just put the last name, right? Williams.
Just Williams, but doesn't one of them already have J Williams on theirs, or no?
Well, then that's the way you do it. One of them just gets Williams, one of them gets J Williams, and you remember which one gets that J Williams right there.
But they have another defensive player that is J Williams.
Williams is a pretty popular name. It makes sense.
Well, on defense, it doesn't matter. You can just have one Williams out there on.
You never see him at the same time.
That's defense Williams.
That's defense Williams.
That's defense Williams. That's offense Williams number 1 and offense Williams number 2.
That exactly.
That's Run Williams and that's Catch Williams.
It's Catch
Run Williams and Catch Williams, dude. All right.
Run Williams, Catch Williams, and defense Williams.
Would you rather be which one's a cooler name, Run Williams or Catch Williams?
Catch Williams.
Run Williams.
I kind of like Run Williams.
Kind of like defense Williams.
D Williams. D Williams. Big D Williams.
Defense Octavius Williams. I just have to imagine that's what the middle name is.
Strong name.
Without a doubt. Do you guys think the Lions can continue making noise down the stretch here? Yesterday on the broadcast, they wouldn't shut up about the fact that every year, usually at least one 6-7 team at this point in the season ends up making the playoffs. They brought it up over and over and over again. If the Lions win this game, they're sitting at 6-7. And in each of the past so many years, a 6-7 team has made the playoffs. The Lions' schedule coming up down the stretch here, they've got the Jets, the Panthers, the Bears, and the Packers to close out the season. So some winnable games and some tough games in that stretch. What are the odds of the Lions closing the season out maybe with 3 or 4 wins and make it to the playoffs?
538 puts them at 20% chance to make the playoffs.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
2 weeks ago, I looked at it, it was 12%. So
this might not include this week 14 yet, because I don't know. I don't know when they update it, but
yeah, it's pretty early in the morning the day after. So yeah, it could be even higher. I'm glad you brought that stat to my attention, because if the Patriots lose tonight, I'm just gonna be like, well, you know that 1 6-7 team.
Patriots are 25%, have a 25% chance. So
how is that possible?
So different.
They're pretty different. They're pretty dead last in the division. It's for the second wild card. Well, the thing is, the Ravens and Bengals, one of those teams will win the division. The other one should get 1 wild card. So that kind of puts the wild card hunt is like Chargers, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. I can't give them 25%. Why would be lower?
Panthers have 33%.
Yikes. I mean, I guess that's just
That
their
makes
division.
more sense. Yeah.
That's their division. That gives them a third of a chance of winning their division, which I think is pretty fair.
What are some other surprising ones you see on there, JL? Anything else jump out?
I mean, Jets are a little low for, I guess not. They only have one more win, but it's 38%. Giants are at 45%. Jaguars are at 14%. That does seem high for the Giants.
Jets face the Lions this week.
That's a game with playoff implications, right? Both those teams fighting for a wild card spot at this point. That's a pretty big game for them, Jets and Lions.
It is, yeah.
Oh, man.
Packers 5-8, which are 6%. Pretty low. Raiders 4%. So Packers and Raiders, pretty much the same team.
There's a chance.
Wow, Tommy, congratulations.
Tommy, take that win today. The Raiders are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet. The Broncos
They're just 3 teams, right? Broncos, Bears, and Texans.
Those are the only 3 mathematically eliminated?
I believe so, according to this, anyway.
Those are 3 teams I would have guessed are eliminated. Scott said, I want the Lions in the playoffs so bad. That would be fun. Hard Knocks to playoffs.
So much
Coach
fun.
Dan Campbell.
Texans were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs in May. Like right after the draft. I was like, well, you can cross that one out.
Also, I see Mr. Scampers in here. We didn't acknowledge him. Good morning, Mr. Scampers said, and the upper body of Mac Jones, talking about the perfect man.
Oh, yeah. You get that dad bod on the half, then the quads and the ass of a god. There's nothing better.
Cone man.
Body by buttered noodles.
Jabba the Hutt, dude.
Jabba the Hutt.
And Tommy said, smile of Waller. There you go. We have now constructed the perfect man. Hair of Dulcich. It keeps going.
Wow.
We got to be careful.
I'm pretty sure this tool updates immediately. So I think that is the current chances for the Lions, 20%.
I wouldn't put it past 538 to have it immediately updated live.
Yeah, I was going to say
thinking they have like a projection one, so you can choose like let's say you want to see what the playoff picture will look like if the Commanders beat the Giants in week 15. You can click it and it tells you like if they tie, win, or lose, and it updates all the probabilities. So I'm pretty sure that just updates.
Plug in Pats beat Cardinals tonight.
All right, Pats. If the Patriots beat the Cardinals, Patriots go up to 40%. Or I'm sorry, it's still updating. So it's going between 39 and 40%.
I kind of like how it does like the calculations right in front of you.
Yeah, it's like kind of switching as we go. Lions go down to 19%. Who else do you want to see?
Yo, I'm just those 538 guys. I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. on an election night and go take my like middle of the night poop and pull my phone out, and they're still like live blogging the election and talking about all like they don't sleep whenever there's something like that. Like, Coop, I'm with you. No shock that it's updated live because those numbers nerds, I love them, and they don't sleep when there's numbers to crunch.
Let's do one more.
Patriots lose, they go down to 13%, by the way.
Yikes. But it's because that it would be lower, but then they're 6 and 7, which makes them mathematically possible to be one of those teams. How about let's do one more for next week. Or we can just keep doing these. They're kind of fun. Let me see what it would look like if the Dolphins beat the Bills next week.
The Dolphins beat the Bills. Let's see, it's doing the number crunching here.
Then the Bills suck is what it should say at the end of that, if I remember correctly, JL. Right. But I'm not positive.
The Dolphins go up to 91% chance to make the playoffs, 30% to win the division, 2% to win the Super Bowl.
There you go.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
So they would like lock in that wild card, it seems.
With a win over the Bills.
Yeah, I think so. Or they'd get close to it for sure.
That would actually probably smoke the Patriots odds because the Patriots need to get the wild card. The Patriots need to basically get in over the Dolphins because the Bengals and Ravens are going to be in. I mean, yeah.
If Tua looked like he did last night, might be looking all right for the Patriots. He did not have himself a good game yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. What happened with Tua last night?
Stinks.
Was it the stifling Chargers defense? Is that what did it? This Chargers defense just get it figured out all of a sudden?
It's that left hand. You should start throwing it right-handed like everybody else.
That's the problem. Just the wrong hand over there. No, and Dustin brought it up. The score makes it look closer than it actually was, but the Chargers pulled this game out 23-17 over the Dolphins. And Tua looking pretty rough, only completing 10 of 28 passes. That is not good. I know my fractions, and that one's bad. It's like 35% completion percentage for Tua Tagovailoa last night against this Chargers D. 35%. What are you doing, man?
Goes from amazing to that so quick.
Oh, and you know the Tua haters are like, see, I told you he was garbage. Forget everything else he's done this season. I knew he was a bust.
Because this is a tough game. You know, these games happen. It's quarterbacks are not infallible. I think the Chargers just got his number.
Tyreek Hill's a stud. But Jalen Waddle hasn't been the best for fantasy over the back half of this season. Dale, is he still in that top tier of wide receiver for you? I think Tyreek Hill's cemented up there. But is Jalen Waddle still up there for you?
Yeah, he is. He hasn't gotten the targets the last couple weeks. They've been tougher matchups. He's got Buffalo this week, which is going to be another tough one. Then Green Bay and New England. Green Bay is fine. New England's going to be tough as well.
New England.
Well, then now Waddle's been dealing with a lower leg injury, and now Tyreek Hill. They kept cutting over the sideline with him. They were doing some weird thing with his ankle there. Both these guys now have lower body injuries. I mean, those guys are banged up. This team is in big trouble because clearly the offense runs through those two players.
They'll just rely on Raheem Mostert is what they'll do. He had 11 carries for 37 yards yesterday. What happened? Did they just decide they were done with Jeff Wilson, that the Jeff Wilson experiment was over and they're going back to Raheem Mostert? Because that's a couple games in a row now that the dude's been the lead back. And I thought this was a slam dunk place for Jeff Wilson. I was telling people to start him all over the place. And then that's what happened.
I think it's, we talk about the coaching tree. It's the Shanahan coaching tree where Shanahan, whenever he hires an assistant coach, he sits him down and he says, look, there's one important part of this offense, this organization that you need to know. And that's anytime everyone assumes one player is a starting running back, you switch it up on. So that's when you go on Twitter and you see the fantasy nerds, once they think they can depend on a player, that's when you pull the rug. Right. And so Mike McDaniel is he's from that tree. Same with Robert Saleh. So I can imagine now that we think Zonovan Knight's the guy, here comes the rug pull. I'm telling you, it's the Shanahan way of life.
Also, Albert
Jeff Wilson got injured in this game.
Yeah.
I recall that happened to the hip. He's dealing with a hip injury. He was getting he got those 4 carries. He did fumble one of them, which ended up being the Tyreek Hill touchdown run. But yeah, I think Raheem Mostert leading this game had more to do with the injury than necessarily a coach decision.
And you only get so many mistakes like that. Like the week before last, in the second quarter, he let Nick Bosa run right by him for a sack on 3rd down. And from then on out, it was kind of a Mostert show. So got to be careful. Can't be making mistakes if you're not a megastar.
Absolutely. Guys, everybody who came in this morning, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us bright and early on a Monday a.m. And great news, we're going to be back tomorrow and the next day and the next day, every day, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. Come back tomorrow and hang out with us as we break down that Monday night football game and start getting you prepped for week 15 in your fantasy football playoffs. Until then, though, we are out of here. Stick around here on BSN for a full day of awesome programming. We got Moose and Keith coming up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru, and then Corey, Nando, and friends to answer all of your toughest fantasy football questions on right after that. Enjoy your Monday night football game tonight. Good luck to your Patriots, Coop. Until tomorrow, though, we are out of here. Adios, everyone.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.